Thank you, Fizzle.
He ran up on a chop, he's a boxer. Pow, right in the kisser. This a stick, this a drum, I'll drop some, nigga. Pow, right in the kisser. I'ma shoot the K until the cops come. Pow, right in the kisser. We did him like that cause he's a spot burner. Pow, right in the kisser. Pull up with the stick with the drum, who won't run with me? Pow, right in the kisser. Stupid shells dumping out the chop, it's 100. Pow, right in the kisser. I'ma pull it out the Louis bag, don't come for me. Pow, right in the kisser. I just stumped a nigga in some Christian Louboutins. Pow, right in the kisser. I just shot a nigga granny house, don't care who in there. Pow, right in the kisser. I can't trust the niggas that I hang with, they be shooting kids. Pow, right in the kisser.
I smoke a nigga like a Swiss or a pack of cigs.
Pow, right in the kisser.
I pull up with a chop on the ops and split a wig. For real.
Pow, right in the kisser.
I broke his bitch, he poppin', and now I'm popping on fig.
Pow, right in the kisser.
We didn't drop by, we walked him down, put him in a ditch.
Pow, right in the kisser.
I got this FN across a nigga, treat him like a Christian.
Pow, right in the kisser.
And my Christian Louboutins running, chasing me a victim. I'm blood walking.
Pow, right in the kisser.
This 762's flipping, I put him in a blender.
Pow, right in the kisser.
A bartender, I give him shots, now he look drunk like he on liquor.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Those are not Glocks, buddy, those are ghost guns.
Those ain't real.
Pow, right in the kisser.
My homie smoked too many ops, he don't got no lungs.
He ain't got no lungs.
Pow, right in the kisser.
223 shells, nigga, that's for King Kong.
That's what the dick ass.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Go play that Roof Chris, bitch, that's my theme song.
We eat that Roof Chris every time we wax.
Pow, right in the kisser.
In this belly backpack is a big strap.
Some shit that really can't even fit in his back.
Pow, right in the kisser.
He got flip hollows, turned him to a Big Mac.
Turn his dumb ass to a burger or something.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Dead man, that's a homie you can't get back.
He's no longer, he can't come back.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Stripping every buster nigga at them kickbacks.
They have no chains on them.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Riding around the city with two straps, I feel like John Wick.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Caught in front of that store, so I flicked him like a bit.
Like a lighter.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Bitches choosing sides cause they knowin' we the shit.
Them niggas, we got sticks.
Pow, right in the kisser.
But we don't give them shit, we just run them, then we dip.
We did.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Bro drive 50, so I had to place the order.
The order?
Pow, right in the kisser.
Chop his head off and throw his body across the border.
I flipped him like a quarter.
Pow, right in the kisser.
You was not a slider, nigga, you the hood porter.
Those are the stones you think shit.
Pow, right in the kisser.
You could date the bitch if you got the feed to afford her.
He can't buy that bitch.
Pow, right in the kisser. He's never coming back in that stack. Pow, right in the kisser. I'ma shoot it till my hand cramp. Pow, right in the kisser. I ain't finna go in bareback, bitch. Pow, right in the kisser. You love me, then come let my friends crash. Pow, right in the kisser. I caught him like in the C class. Pow, right in the kisser. They gon' have to run a beat back. Pow, right in the kisser. You go against the team, you need cash. Pow, right in the kisser. I caught his mama at the repass. Pow, right in the kisser. Another nigga dead, you gotta deal with it.
I mean, it's been a long ass time ago.
Pow, right in the kisser. You an internet thug, I'm in the real trenches.
He just pop it on the ground, weird ass nigga.
Pow, right in the kisser. He wanna squabble up, I wanna kill niggas.
I'ma hit him with this chop, we ain't gon' box.
Pow, right in the kisser. I'm from the stink team and saw real niggas.
We run this shit, y'all weird.
Pow, right in the kisser. I nutted her face and told her deal with it.
Splashed all on the motherfucker's face.
Pow, right in the kisser. I was cooking in the county on the grill, nigga.
I was whipping up all type of fancy shit.
Pow, right in the kisser. I was really in K-Town taking field trips.
Ling Ling, May Ling, Kim Long and all.
Pow, right in the kisser. All dome shot, we tryna split wigs.
We tryna rearrange some shit.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Man, niggas know what the fuck going on, nigga.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Man, he's never coming back in that stat, nigga. Man, let that shit go, bro. Like,
Pow,
this shit
right
is
in the
ridiculous.
kisser.
Like, you niggas still holding on to grudges and all that shit from 3 years ago, man. Like,
Pow, right in the kisser.
I'm just saying, like, y'all niggas, like, it's come on, bro. Like,
Pow, right in the kisser.
it's over with, bro. Like, you man, like, come on, bro.
Pow, right in the kisser.
He's never coming back in that stat. Like,
Pow, right in the kisser.
like, just face it, bro. Like, y'all just holding on to this shit, like, nigga.
Pow, right in the
What y'all
kisser.
gonna do? Wait till somebody else get flipped? Like, what's going on?
Pow, right in the kisser.
Yeah, exactly, nigga. Yeah.
Pow, right in the kisser. Pow, right in the kisser.
Pow, right in the kisser. Pow.
Pow right in the kisser. Pow right in the kisser. Right in the kisser.
Come on, bro.
Pow right
He's
in
no
the
longer.
kisser. Pow right in the kisser.
We Japanese still. You getting cooked in front of your family like a Japanese meal. It's y'all soup the hibachi and none of you niggas can stop me. Can't help but watch me. Man, we got another bird, man. I got another bird. Look, we've been going through the DNA, teaching you guys the understanding of the DNA, right, for years. And people don't understand. They come with these arguments as if it hasn't been addressed before. We've already addressed autosomal DNA. But you know what I like to play? I like to lower my handicap and raise yours. So in the beginning of this video, let's just hypothetically say what Judah Nazareth said was true, which we all know he's using pseudo sources. Aaron Elhike is a pseudo. He's a known pseudo. But let's just say it's true that we use autosomal solely to identify people groups, and we don't use anything else. And we say that's their deep ancestry. That's who they directly come from, just going off autosomal, which anyone who knows a little bit about genetics and knows the difference between different genetic testing as autosomal, maternal, and paternal DNA test kits, Y-DNA, mtDNA test kits, then you would know why that's a problem and why it's problematic. But let's just assume, let's put the logic in the back pocket for now, and let's assume that these people are right with this autosomal. None of the people that you claim are Israelites are Israelites. If you want to go on autosomal DNA, none of you, Judah Nazareth, you, African Americans at large, the diasporic Africans, none of them are Israelites because none of them belong to the Levantine region autosomally. Zero, zilch, nada. The Levantine DNA in West and Central Africans and African Americans is negligible. This is why you get Teo, and you get these people like Teo and these pseudo groups that will try to claim that the land of Israel is somewhere in Zimbabwe, because they understand that if they're going to stand on autosomal admixture, which is admixture, it's not direct lineage, it's in the damn test name, admixture, right? For example, your maternal grandmother could have an Asian that she directly descends from, and then you look at your DNA test, your autosomal results, and 3% could be East Asian. Why? Because of something going on in your maternal grandmother's lineage that you picked up, that you inherited from probably 3, 4, or 5 generations back that you directly don't descend from. I'm going to show you this image real quick because we got to teach you guys. Because, come on, I've been there, Judah Nazareth. I was a Black Hebrew Israelite. I followed all of the antics. I used those type of teaching methods. I did not understand certain things. I jump in head first and make myself look like a fool. I've been where you've been. And this is what's going to continue to happen. And it's popular to be ignorant and sell ignorance. But here, we do things a little different. But if we assume what you're saying, no African American, no Western Central African, no diasporic African would be considered Israelites, period. Out of a mission of Aaron Elhike's own website and through his DNA testing, he places us as Stone Age Africans autosomally. So therefore, you're not an Israelite, I'm not an Israelite, nobody's an Israelite. That's an African-American, diasporic African. You can read how many curses you want to read all goddamn day. So y'all never want to apply the logic across the board. The Aristotle and dictum. Y'all never want to say, how does that apply to my group, right? And this is why I do not support Black Hebrew Israelite arguments, period. I am done with that. I am done with trying to claim biblical lineages and Israelite lineage. I'm finished with that because what happens is it becomes a racial purist argument and it just becomes clouded and overran with pseudoism. That's it. That's why y'all run to Aaron Elhike. Y'all not running to the leading geneticists in the field because you know they don't jive with that at all. Y'all go to these fringe pseudo geneticists because you want them to say that the Jews are Khazarians. Right? Oh, 90% of them, which is a fake statistic, are Khazarians. They're Khazarians. Based off what? Based off what? Based off what? Nothing but a claim. So let me show y'all this image real quick, man. I don't do that game. I don't play that pseudo game no more with y'all. It's just getting to a fever pitch point. Watch this. Check this out, y'all. Go to Window, Chrome tab, and then let's look at the. I was watching the game too. You almost got away with one because you did this while I was watching the game. I wanted to see the divisional weekend, how that went down, and I started looking at it. I'm like, the game ended. I'm like, oh man, this dude really went there with this autosomal DNA bullshit. And here's another thing. If you're watching Judah Natzarah, whenever you're watching this video or this clip, here's another thing for you, bro. Haplogroups are not doctrines. Saying that we teach haplogroups is not the same thing as we're teaching a doctrine. Haplogroups is an empirical, observable fact. It's not a doctrine. So autosomal DNA is not a doctrine. I heard you use that phrase. It just does not fit. Like it's trying to put a square peg in a round one here. Here's an autosomal DNA chart. I'll pick the graph so you can visualize what autosomal DNA is. So when you look at autosomal DNA, watch this. You see where it says your DNA? I'll use myself. I come from this man here. Let's say this is an E1B1A carrier. I come from this man, right? But this man descends from his mother and his father, just like I descend from my mother and my father, right? Well, you follow the mother line. You have a maternal grandmother here and a maternal grandfather. This maternal grandfather did not directly produce my grandfather or my father, but autosomes were inherited because the 22 chromosomes mixed during the reproduction process. We understand this. So if you keep going down and further back in time and further down the line, you're going to pick up more signals that come from outside of the group you directly returned or you come from. It's just that simple. What's the group you directly come from? These two lines here, paternally and maternally. Those are the two groups you directly come from. Everything in between is what we call indirect inheritance. That's why you get percentages on your autosomal DNA breakdown. You might get some East Asian. You might get some Native Indigenous American. You might get some European. You might get some Sub-Saharan African. That does not tell you the whole story. That does not tell you how the whole story. And this is why I try not to make my context or of my videos to sound anything like Black Hebrew Israelite videos, because you guys have just solely committed to pseudoisms, pseudoisms. Period. You're fixated on it. You don't understand autosomal DNA, which is fine. But, with all that getting of understanding, Mr. Bible believer, right? So as we can see here, you don't directly, this person here, representing the DNA test, I'll use myself. I don't directly descend from my maternal folks, or maternal grandparents folks, or my paternal maternal grandfather's folks, and vice versa for the maternal side. I don't directly descend from my maternal grandfather or his father or his father, but they show up. Parts of their DNA, segments of their autosomal DNA shows up in my DNA report because there's a percentage of DNA that's passed down through each generation. If you understood autosomal DNA, which is admixture DNA, you would understand that, right? It drops by 50 each generation. So the further you go back, it gets to a low, negligible number. This is why autosomal DNA cannot be used for deep inferences in time. We covered this on the channel before. We covered this, and you're without excuse, because if you're looking into these articles instead of trying to cherry pick, that's just read the articles. I've been there. I've cherry picked stuff, and some of it's instinctual because we believe we got the truth. We believe everything that we're saying that we put our hands on is going to culminate to this truth that we've already validated in our mind. You've already validated in your mind that black people are Jews and they fake. So everything you're looking for is trying to confirm that bias. Instead of reading the information to understand the information, you're just looking at cherry picking anything and spinning everything to confirm your bias. This is why I don't do those type of arguments no more. That's why I don't support Black Hebrew Israelites no more. I can't do it anymore, man. In honest faith, I can't. I can't back none of these arguments. These arguments are all flawed. And again, if we're going off autosomal DNA, Jewish people have more Levantine autosomal DNA than Black Americans do on average, than diasporic Africans do on average, than West Central Africans do on average. So if you want to keep it fair and apply it across the board, you just negated majority of the African American diasporic African population. That's what you just did. But everything sounds good because, again, you cherry pick and you don't want to analyze it from a holistic perspective. Again, look at this chart. I directly descend from the males that create a straight line there and the women that create a straight line. Everything in between, I do not come from the ball sacks of those people or the eggs of those women. I don't. And I'm trying to break this down into the simplest terms so y'all can get it. Because we covered this video to ad nauseum on the channel already. I see you more. Shalom, shalom. We covered this to ad nauseum already. We dealt with this when Teo brought it up, when other brothers brought it up. We've dealt with the autosomal argument. The problem is you don't understand it. That's the issue. And no, autosomal DNA is not a doctrine. We teach autosomal DNA here. The difference is we understand the material. Remember when Paul said, understanding what thou readest. You don't. Mr. Bible believer. So take out some more time, get some literature and sit down and read this stuff, man, and grasp the understanding. This is why they make articles saying people that do their own research are really pseudo. It's because you're not doing your own research to understand. You're trying to validate a claim that you've already have in your brain. You're trying to validate that Jewish people are fake and that African Americans are the legitimate Jews. That's what you're trying to do. Let me get this source real quick. Then I'm gonna let my brother Moore come in. I see, but I gotta spit this.
Oh no, you good, bro. I already had my round. Like,
yeah.
Go on. I ain't trying to speak to you, man. You good? You good? I just thought I'd get a front row seat with the popcorn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, let me just go in real quick on this. So this is the book, Genealogist's Guide to Why DNA Testing for Genetic Genealogy. And we're dealing with the chapter that's dealing with autosomal DNA. Let me go to that first, and then we're going to get to the zinger here. So what is autosomal DNA? It's no secret that the most popular DNA testing by far is autosomal DNA testing. When people talk about ethnicity percentages from DNA or how they found a new second cousin that matched them at a certain percentage level, they're talking about autosomal tests. Based on the latest statistics, more than 30 million people have tested their DNA with Ancestry, 23andMe, and Family Tree DNA, or other companies that offer these autosomal DNA tests to explore their ancestry. Autosomal DNA testing key points. Test all 23 chromosomes, including Y chromosome, but not in enough detail to report much Y DNA testing related information. So people will say, well, this is looking at more of your DNA. Y chromosomes, this is me speaking now. Y chromosome and haplogroups only make up 0.01% of your DNA. Autosomal DNA makes we're all 99.7%. So the things that make us different are the very small fractions of our DNA, not the majority. Right? Let's keep reading. It says, can be taken both by men and women. That's why DNA is only inherited through the father. That's how we know we can trace back the father line all the way back across millennia. Limitless, because only men could pass that down, right? And with women, you look at the mtDNA, of course, right? So it says, can identify ancestors within. Now, here's the key point. Within about 5 to 8 generations on average. So you guys are shit out of luck here because you're trying to claim to be ancient Israelites, and autosomal DNA only has a reach of 5 to 8 generations. 5 to 8. Well, how do you have, not Natufian, Neanderthal DNA? Oh, well, because it stabilizes over a long period of time, meaning the same people that contracted it at the beginning, they keep crossbreeding with other peoples and carrying that same segment of DNA until the present. See, I actually read this stuff, so I understand it. So you can have ancient strands of DNA that stabilize within people groups because they keep mixing and mixing and mixing, and that segment of DNA is never lost, right? But for the most part, your autosomal DNA. So when you take an autosomal DNA test kit from 23andMe and it says 23% European coming from the French, that's within the last 5 to 8 generations. And it doesn't tell you if that's coming from your mother or your father. Remember, these things mix up. Your chromosomes break down and mix up during the sexual reproduction process. These are admixtures. That's why you get percentages. This is not telling you direct ancestry. This is the proper way of teaching this. Let me keep going. Can't identify ancestors from all ancestral lines. Like I showed you earlier, this can pick up something on your maternal grandparent side, your paternal grandparent side. And again, you don't directly descend from your maternal grandfather, just like you don't directly descend from your paternal grandmother. It does not work. So if you're picking up autosomal signatures from your paternal grandmother, that's not telling you about your direct ancestry. Furthermore, people group from vastly different backgrounds can share the same autosomal makeup. This is the silliness of this argument. African Americans, for example, we're about 80 to 20%, 80% sub-Saharan Africa, 20% European on average. On average, but we all share different direct ancestries. We're not all the same. We're not homogenous, even though we may have the same ancestral autosomal components, because there was a large influx of sub-Saharan African people carrying those autosomes coming in through what is known as the transatlantic slave trade. That's why. That's what that's showing you. So anyway, so you that's why you can have white people that literally descend from slaves from Western Central Africa and be mostly European autosomally. They share the same autosomal markers because their father's father decided to mix into a different group and pick up those autosomal signatures. You can have someone that has the same mother and ancestor and father, paternally and maternally, coming from Western Central Africa and be majorly European autosomally. Well, how is that possible? Because people mix. That's how it's possible. People have sex with other groups outside of their own. That's the human historical record. That's how humans get down. They have sex. These ideas of racial lines don't exist until recently. Humans go around having sex. Especially women, because women, it's survival mode. They're going to go with the conquering class, right? That's just how it works. That's over a majority of history. That's how it works. So again, you can have, like we had a North African brother, E1B1A on the paternal side, L1B1A on the maternal. So his maternal and paternal was African. Majority of his DNA did not point to sub-Saharan Africa. Majority of his DNA was North African, European. But I am closely related to him on his father's side because of the E1B1A marker. That means he got that from an E1B1A male, just like I got my Y-DNA from. I directly descend from the same pool of males. All right, so let me continue reading this. It's estimated that over 30 million people have tested so far. Can include ethnicity reporting, can be used for health predisposition reporting. The really short explanation of autosomal DNA testing is that you inherit your autosomal DNA from both biological parents. About 50% of your total DNA is from each of them. And they in turn inherited theirs from their parents. So your autosomal DNA is a reflection of all your ancestral lines. So not just your direct lines, not just your paternal, your maternal lines, everything in between. The people that don't directly have anything to do with reproducing you. Meaning they didn't get into bed with somebody, slept with them, and then produced your father or produced your grandfather. So on and so forth, right? You don't directly descend from the loins of those people. So again, when you get your autosomal admixture and it says Native American, when it says East Asian, or you might have some from Polynesia somewhere, or you might have some components from India somewhere. You know, it's not rare to see that amongst Trinidadian, Tobago, Jamaicans. They got some Indian infusion there, introgression there. That does not mean they themselves directly descend from East Indians. That means somewhere in their line within the 5-8 generation time frame, their peoples intermix with those people. This is called indirect inheritance. Anyway, let me go to the zinger here. The other major difference between autosomal DNA and Y-DNA is that autosomal DNA has a limited range and can look back about 5 to 8 generations on average, while Y-DNA essentially looks back an unlimited number of generations. Since the autosomal DNA that you inherit drops by 50% for each ancestor every generation back in time, you only inherit about 3% of your DNA from any one of your 32 ancestors from 5 generations back. So you go 5 generations back, you get the smallest person. The further you go back in time, the lower your ancestors contribute to your gene pool. It says those small percentages of DNA very quickly become too small for useful analysis. Also, since DNA recombines in larger chunks rather than tiny pieces, starting about 5 generations back, you may not inherit any DNA from certain ancestors. And the percentage of ancestors that did not contribute anything to your DNA increases dramatically from there going further back in history. Real quick, this is called DNA blind spots, man. You can't see that far back because you don't inherit DNA, and it's not guaranteed that you inherit DNA from somebody that lived 300, 400, 500, 600 years plus in time, which is a problem for you Black African Israelite, because you're claiming that you are a product of people that lived in the Levant 3,000 to 4,000 years ago in the Bronze to Iron Age. This is a huge problem because you cannot reach back that far. Using autosomal DNA, trying to go off admixture testing, it does not work in your favor. This is why y'all don't debate. This is why. It'll be over the first slide. All right, so those small percentages, DNA very quickly become too small for useful analysis. Also, since DNA recombines in larger chunks rather than in tiny pieces, starting about 5 generations back, you may not inherit any DNA from certain ancestors. And the percentage of ancestors that did not contribute anything to your DNA increases dramatically from there going back further back in history. Y-DNA, on the other hand, is very different. It is limited to one line of your ancestry only, but can see mutations from hundreds of thousands of years back on that one line. This is your direct paternal ancestry. For you guys that are claiming that you come from Jacob, you need to have a Y chromosome that reflects that. Because he's a male. Males have Y chromosomes. They pass it down to their male heir. Their male heirs pass it down to their male heirs, to their grandsons, and then into the present. So you can't say that you and this guy over here, just because you're African Americans, you're labeled in this social group, in this social caste, that somehow that y'all both come from Jacob and you got a different Y chromosome than him. How, Sway? Oh, but our autosomal admixture is the same. That means nothing. You're claiming to be a direct descendant of Jacob. Therefore, there should be homogeny on the Y chromosome on all the people that are claiming to be Israelites. And that's not what we see. You African Americans are a bunch of hodgepodge peoples. Some of you descend directly from native indigenous people that were here 15,000 years before present. Some of you descend from Western and Central Europeans. That's just a fact. Some of you are the direct descendants of people that will be called Templars back then. Some of you are the direct descendants of the Swedes. Some of you are the direct descendants of Scandinavians. Some of you are the direct descendants of Western Central Africans, which is another mixed group. There is no homogeneity in these groups. The Hausa, for instance, the Hausa have a high introgression of RV88. That's a completely different group that comes from the Balkans 8,000 years before present. This is the issue, and this is why all your arguments dissolve into racial purists. All it is racial purist arguments. You're trying to group all black people together and say they have the same ancestry. We don't. We do not. We don't share the same direct ancestry. Therefore, black Americans cannot be all descendants of a man that is named Jacob that lived in the Bronze Age Levant. But when you dwell in the rims of Pseudo, this is what you do. I was there. I escaped. I got out of that. Y'all still playing in it, rolling around in the mud, getting dirty. That's what's going on right here, man. So if I look up right now, an average African-American DNA. These are African-American autosomal DNA results. Let's pull it up real quick. Let me see if I can get some 23andMe results here. Here's a European one. Let me get a sub-Saharan African one. Hold on. 23andMe. All right, here's a good one. Here's a good one. It's a sister right here. Let's use this one. Just for teaching purposes here, because a lot of y'all got to learn, man. A lot of y'all being fed pseudoisms by these Black Hebrew Israelite cult members, man. That's what's happened. They are regurgitating pseudo-isms. All right? Like it's like the Wu-Tang Clan said it the best, man. They selling garbage around the way. That's what y'all getting, garbage. So we got this sister here. She's 54% West African. So we go off, see, this is another thing too, percentages, right? We're going off percentages. So which one do you pick as your direct ancestor? Oh, I'm gonna go off the number that's, you know, the most, the highest number. Okay, what about the other ancestral lines? You just forget about them? That's because y'all don't understand what y'all looking at. 54% West African, 16% Italian, 4% Central and South African, and 3% Japanese. Does this tell you what this person directly, what group of people they directly descend from? No, it does not. But it tells you the segments of their DNA and what swath of people that it's connected with. 54% of it is connected with some West Africans. 16% of it is connected with some Italian. 4% is Central and South African, and 3% is Japanese. Somewhere along her line, within the last 5 or 8 generations, she's getting these segments of DNA in her gene pool, as we just read. As we just read. Let me see if I get another one here. What's this one here? Oh, that's broadly South Asian. Oh, 38.4% Sub-Saharan African. So which line did you pick here? Let me see if I can get this bigger for y'all. Let's do this. Let's do it like this, man. Because these people playing games, man. They selling garbage around the way. It's a little blurry, but 50% South Asian, broadly South Asian. Does this mean, oh, let's go off autosomal? Oh, well, so this person is obviously directly descended from South Asians. No, this is not what this is telling you. Segments of their DNA within the last 5 or 8 generations come from people that are associated within these regions. That's all it's saying. That's in context. 9% of European. Oh, does it mean they directly? No. Your autosomal is showing direct and indirect ancestry. The only way you trace your direct lines is through your YMT-DNA. That's the proper understanding. And no, that's not a doctrine. That's empirical facts. The only way you can get a Y chromosome DNA is through a male having sex. That's it. That's empirical fact. That's observable facts. And the reason why you guys do not want to accept your haplogroup, you don't want to accept your own DNA, the DNA that is coursing through your veins right now, that is the information that makes up you, that creates you, your eyes, your hair texture, your skin color, your skin tone, your organs, everything. You're denying your own existence because you want to be an Israelite so damn bad, so you got to twist and manipulate reality. You have to twist and manipulate reality. And this is why I advise everybody to run like hell from Black Hebrew Israelite cults. Because they'll tell you, oh, the white man's distorting history. No, that's what you guys are doing. You're distorting history. You're distorting science. You're distorting geography. You got people telling you that the land of Israel is in sub-Saharan Africa somewhere, and Zimbabwe somewhere, and the Congo somewhere. But the white man's the devil. Everything's the white man's fault. Well, you guys are going out your way to twist and distort history, to twist and distort science. That's what you guys are doing on a consistent basis. And not only that you're doing that, you're using that pseudoscience and pseudo knowledge that you have, and then trying to bludgeon random people on the street with it. Telling people that you're gonna get enslaved, you're gonna get killed, these people gonna have my babies and be forced to be my concubine. That's you guys. But the white man's the devil, right? He's the deceiver, right? When we was in IUIC, we used to teach that white people came out the womb lying. That was what we taught. That's scientific racism. So it sounds like the people that are doing all the distorting and the twisting of reality are Black Hebrew Israelites. That's what it sounds like, because I can give you a plethora of video material and evidence of these people doing exactly that, saying that the land of Israel is not in the Levant, saying it's in sub-Saharan Africa to try to fit their twisted identity, racial purist nonsense. That's you guys doing that. Trying to twist autosomal DNA to try to say, oh, the Jews are fake because the autosomal, they got Levantine autosomal DNA, dumb. Jewish people have Levantine. You do understand that, right? All you're doing is kicking the can further down the road. Again, we go back to the African-American sister. She ain't got no Levantine DNA right there. Most of her DNA was sub-Saharan African, Italian, Central and South African, and Japanese. It don't say Jewish on there. It don't say the Levant. What's going on here? What's really going on here, man? So what y'all do is y'all run from one pseudo argument to another pseudo argument. Y'all see that DNA is not swaying in your favor, like most of the hard sciences are not going to sway in your favor, because science and these empirical facts don't bend to your doctrine. It's not malleable to your doctrine. It is what it is. The properties of oxygen are going to be the properties of oxygen, whether you believe in it or not. The properties of water are going to be the properties of water, whether you believe in it or not. Whether you make tens of thousands of videos saying, I don't believe in what they say about water and air, and it's not going to change it. Same thing with the properties of DNA. Your DNA transmission works the way DNA transmission works, whether Judah Nazareth accepts it or not, whether IUIC accepts it or not. The only way you can transmit DNA is through sex. And there are segments of your DNA you can only get from one biological sex. And that's how you trace ancestry. It's just that simple. Direct ancestry is traced that way. Autosomal ancestry is a mixture. The issue is, you guys don't look this stuff up to gain an understanding. You look this stuff up to try to cherry pick and twist and distort to try to confirm your bias. That's it. It's that simple. That's why y'all run to Iran al-Haq, which has been proven wrong. The Khazarian hypothesis have been proven wrong. We have Khazarian burials. We know what their haplogroup identity was. We know that. No, majority of Jews do not come from Turkey. Where the hell are you getting that from? A pseudo. We just read the paper where 40% of their DNA comes from Southern Europe, backing up the route they took into going into Europe. And you believe in the Bible. The Bible tells you that Jews were in Southern Europe. Where's the disconnect? Where's the historicity backs it? Because we got artifact after artifact showing you Jews transmitting and making the trek through Southern Europe, and the DNA reflects it because we see it in their DNA. Now, where is it in yours?
You might have to show them a map again for the umpteenth time of Southern Europe, Corinthians, all these different churches in Europe where these Jews were.
Yeah, man. I mean, we do it to ad nauseum, Saya. Sean, we do this to ad nauseum. How many times we covered this? And again, invalidating someone else's ancestry does not automatically validate yours. Appreciate that. More guy has autosomal admixture up there. 46.3% sub-Saharan African, 29% West African or Nigerian. Go ahead, Moore.
I'm gonna run through this, right? Because this backs up exactly what you're talking about, right? So I got three basic components to my admixture: African, European, and Native American. Right? You see sub-Saharan African there. You'll see North African here in a second. 37% European, 13% Native American. Right? Now, my paternal DNA, my Y DNA goes back to the Sahel. I'm EM33. Goes back to West Africa, right? My maternal DNA, however, my empty DNA goes back to being Native American. That's like out of the three groups that I belong to, African, European, and Native American, that's my smallest group of autosomal DNA. Yet my mother's lineage goes back to that portion of my DNA. Most people would just assume, oh, okay, your second biggest group is European, so you got to have a European. No, that's not how it works. I've got more European DNA than I have Native American DNA. A lot more European DNA than I have Native American DNA. But I have a Native American haplogroup. And in fact, like my haplogroup, I'm A2G. There's people in Japan with haplogroup A. So if Judah's wife was to take a DNA test, we might be maternally related. Just like if Judah were to take a DNA test, he might find out that we both might be YAP positive, right? We might not have the same DNA. Like, so for instance, again, Yeshub and I don't have the same DNA. Sean Harris and I don't have the same DNA, right? Excuse me. We have different haplogroups, but we're both YAP. All three of us are YAP. You go back far enough, we share paternal ancestry. It's the same thing with, it could be the same thing with Judah and his wife. I could potentially share paternal ancestry with Judah and maternal ancestry with his wife. But going through with this autosomal concept, right? And again, this should really make sense to Judah, right? Because because when you're making an autosomal argument, what you're doing is you're making a phenotype argument, right? That's pretty much what you're doing altogether, right? You're making it a phenotype argument. And so at that juncture, this is where people like Judah, people like Alazar, etc., this is where it becomes detrimental to your argument or whatnot, right? Because you should understand the concept of admixture because you're mixed yourselves. Like Judah, one of his parents is Puerto Rican, etc., right? So he might have more Levantine DNA than the average African American because he he has more European admixture through Puerto Rican ancestry, right? So if he were to take Aaron Elhike's test, he might come up more Levantine than the average African American. He may not. He may find out like most African Americans that take like Aaron Elhike's test that it says you're 0% Levantine. You ain't got none. That's what happened to Shub and a whole bunch of other people that took the test, right? Aaron Elhike's test. But being that you're mixed and whatnot, right? And again, like your kids are more mixed than you are, Judah, right? Shout out to your kids. You got beautiful kids. Shout out to I, right? But like D-Red tried to tell you, like if your children stayed in Japan and kept mixing with Japanese people, they wouldn't look nothing like you. Just like you know for a fact, Judah, you can sit your children next to your parents and wouldn't nobody think they were related. Wouldn't nobody think they're related, but your son carries your father's haplogroup. That's verifiable. Go ahead, y'all got it.
Did anybody explain to them that on Eric Elhike, Dr. Elhike's website, his DNA website, that European Jews seem to score higher and closer to ancient Jews than African Americans in his model?
That's
That's what I should have done earlier, OG. I forgot to do that. Like when dude jumped on, it threw me all off and whatnot. I was gonna close off by playing a video from Abu, where Abu was just running through that, right? Like he ran through that whole concept, right? He ran through his last couple of videos. He ran through the tail twins and their math on how it doesn't work with the autosomal stuff. But then somebody who was European finally went through. They got the public results from them through Aaron Elhike's test and whatnot, and they came way more Levantine. And so he was posting Abu posted the results in comparison to the other results and whatnot that been coming out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's hilarious in this juncture.
And now, so they can't say that this is the person that they're listening to, Dr. Elhike. This is the person
that's your
that they're
man,
listening to.
That's your dude.
And on his website, his DNA website, Europeans are scoring way higher than any African American that goes onto that site and puts their kit into that website. They come out way closer to Levantine populations. So is he using Jewish DNA, Jewish scientist DNA? How they put it?
He is a Jewish scientist. That's the funny thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Man, these dudes is funny.
As you guys see on the screen, autosomally Ashkenazi Jews, which are the green squares, they're between Middle Eastern and European people. So again, you can run the autosomal DNA all you want. You're still going to validate these people. You're not invalidating them. You're not. What did Paul say? You kick against the pricks? That's what y'all doing. Y'all kicking against the pricks. If you know anything about pricks, you get a bull or a cattle that's stubborn. They keep kicking back. That prick or that blade keeps driving deeper and deeper into them, and it hurts more. That's all you're doing. As you can see, the green squares represent modern Ashkenazi Jews. And then the Erfurt are the round circles, red circles, which are the Erfurt Jews that existed in the Middle Ages, which they clustered tight with these modern Ashkenazi Jews as well. But the point is, they're between Middle Eastern and European peoples because those are the people that were mixing. The Jews originally come from the Middle East, made their way through Southern Europe into other parts of Europe, and started mixing with the Spanish, with the French, with the Hungarians, the Lithuanians, Germans, so on and so forth. That's why they cluster between. Just like we are of a mix of Europeans, Native Americans, and Western Central Africa. So we cluster between those groups because we're byproducts of those groups autosomally. So again, this does not help you. You running to autosomal DNA is not going to help your argument. If anything, it's going to put the dirt over the casket for you. All right.
That's fair.
I got a quick question. Did the brother Judah Nazareth do his own DNA? Does
No.
anybody know?
No.
Oh, but he has a Okay, but he's throwing his hat into this fight. Okay.
Yeah.
So it says here, and that always happens. People want to argue these DNA stuff, but don't want to go take their own. They're afraid that the DNA test is not going to say. Matter of fact, it's never going to say ancient Israelite. You're not going to get a DNA test like that. But they're afraid that the DNA test is going to put them on an outside group that they don't want to be in or be involved with. That's it. Most Black Hebrew Israelites don't want to find out that they're Europeans.
Hey, real talk, Judah got a better chance to get 11 autosomal DNA than most African Americans, right? So if I would have showed it, I should have showed it. But if I go down on my autosomal DNA on my 23andMe, like I have North African, Middle Eastern DNA, right? But it's very little. But I get that through my mother's side or whatnot, right? She's North African, she's Spanish, all that kind of stuff, right? So like it's gonna be through that side most likely that Judah gets that admixture. Now there's a small chance he could get it from like African admixture, but it's fam, that's like a needle in a haystack kind of a thing, fam. That's not going to be the average. Like so when we look at the average autosomal admixture of African Americans in the Tufian DNA, when you go into different different places like GEDmatch or whatnot, like fam, it's mad small in comparison. Like so, for instance, Abu has more Natufian admixture. Abu has more Natufian admixture than every a BHI that's put their DNA out there. From Dante. Dante legitimately has a Natufian marker, right? In terms of a haplogroup or whatnot, right? Legitimately downstream from the Natufians and whatnot, right? He's less than I want to say it's been a long time since I looked at this, but it was like 6 or 4% Natufian. Like I'm like 17%, right? I'm way more than the average African American, right? I come through like on the average Sahelian admixture, whatnot, which is around 17-18% and whatnot, right? But Abu he's coming through like in my mom's in them, like he's coming through like 30 something, 34 something like that. You know what I'm saying? Way more than the average. And again, so if Abu was to take Aaron Elhike's test, he'd come out just like the Europeans he's showing, way closer to being Israelite based upon Aaron Elhike's model. Way closer. 34% Natufian, fam. That's 1/3 Natufian, fam.
Not only that, but Yeshua, you were saying earlier that there's no DNA test that you would take that will say ancient Israelite. There is one. Aaron
Elhike, yeah.
Aaron Elhike's, and to drive this point home close again, closer to home again, an Ashkenazi Jew or a European Jew will score higher or closer to ancient Israelite on his website than any of you will.
That's a fact.
That's a fact, 100%. I need to go grab a Boo's video right quick.
Oh, you want to play that? Boo's? Let's do it. Let me get this in real quick. So the origins of Ashkenazi Jews, as well as the history of admixture events that have shaped their gene pool, like that liar Aaron Elhike, because he actually is a liar, because he knows this, right? And he just attempts to deceive for his own reasons, so he can sell his product. But some of you guys, I bought his product just to show you guys a result. But he knows what he's saying is not true. 90% of Ashkenazi Jews do not trace back to Turkey. That's a lie. So when we look at Ashkenazi Jews in their gene pool, right, are subject to debate, it says genetic evidence supports a mixed Middle Eastern and European ancestry in Ashkenazi Jews. This is based on uniparental markers with origins in either region. This is haplogroups, right? So paternal and maternal, right? Because, a lot of these Jews are having J markers, which we know go back to the Middle East. They have an E markers, which we know go back to the Middle East. Some of them have T markers go back to the Middle East. Even some of the R markers go back to the Middle East, right? Now, it continues on, as well as autosomal studies showing that Ashkenazi Jews have ancestry intermediate between Middle Eastern and European populations. And again, this makes complete sense because Jews are coming from Judea, they're coming from the Middle Eastern region and then migrating out into Europe. We see it in their genes. Now you show me it in your genes. Since you want to call these people fake and try to call these people Khazarians, let's see that in your genes. Anyway, let me go from let me pull that map, just like brother said. The brother said Paul's
Yeah, Paul,
Paul's
the
routes.
church is this. Yes.
Here's a good one here. So Paul's journey shows you that Jews were in Southern Europe. I've done this to ad nauseum here on the channel. Paul went to Cyprus. Paul was born in Tarsus, which is Anatolia.
You might have to
Paul,
enlarge that, bro. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Can you enlarge that?
let's see, I got it. What about there? It's a little blurry, but you can still see that it's a
Nah,
map.
it's probably blurry on your
Yeah,
screen.
no,
It's
that's good. That's
clear on
good.
mine.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
good. It's not
All
blurry
right.
over there.
So Paul went to Thrace, that's Southern Europe. He went to Macedonia, Philippi, Thessalonica. We know those books, Thessalonians, right? He went to Delphi. We know Corinthians, the book Corinthians. He went to Corinth. That's in Southern Europe. He was in Italy. The book of Hebrews is said to be written to the Hebrews of Italy. There's Jews in Italy. There's Jews in Thrace, Macedonia,
Galatia.
Sicily, Crete. Yeah, Galatia. There's Jews here. It's around the Black Sea region. So Jews having a Southern European component makes complete sense from a biblical narrative wide angle and also historicity, because again, all these places have the earmarks of Jews. The artifacts, the material culture, these things are there still. And we know they were there. Now you do the same instead of just trying to say that they're not Jews, they're fake. You bring the evidence to the table. You can't. That's why you go on these pseudo binges and try to find any pseudo argument to fit and confirm your bias. We got that video of brother Abu smashing these cats.
Yeah, I'm mad too. The thumbnail says a cautionary tale for autosomal Israelites.
No, but this map right here needs to stick in everyone's head. When you start talking about European Jews and the fake and this, that, and the third, and they don't connect, they're all European. We're going back to like first century and seeing this map and showing, all the churches where there were Jews. You guys are really out of control with this.
Shout out to Abu.
Greetings.
Yeah,
So
now
a
you're
while
in the
back,
house.
Teo Ministries put up this video. It's a video titled "The Real Northern Kingdom," and in the video description, they wrote the following: "Quote: Everyone knows that the Native American Indians and the Latinos are not Israel unless they're of Afro descent. Here's the real Northern tribe of Israel." End quote. Now, that sort of video is intended as a jab at the One West Tribes chart, which I'm fully in favor of criticizing. You see, within the diverse Israelite spectrum, many have recognized that there are problems with that One West Tribes chart. However, unfortunately, some who have recognized those problems, some who reject the One West Tribes chart, have then made this unjustified leap to making sweeping statements and generalizations about hundreds of millions of people, and they wind up perhaps rejecting more than they should. And as was covered in a previous video, the Teo twins also have previously shared crude memes which make clumsy generalizations about what they call quote unquote conquistador Asian Mexicans and quote unquote Spaniard Latin Hispanics. Again, this was done as part of a jab at the One West Tribes chart. So, with that in mind, I'd like to introduce Gedalia from HOW Music or How Music, who can be found on the YouTube channel How Music TV. And I'll share some links in the video description. And I shared this picture of him with his permission. You see, I wrote to him asking if I can make a very brief video about him, and he gave me permission to share all of the screenshots that I'll be sharing in this video. Now, on an interesting note, it's my understanding that this gentleman is actually seriously thinking of making a documentary titled Hebrews to Latinos, which will sort of be like a play on the title of Ron Dalton's Hebrew to Negroes documentary series. And maybe some might find that idea absurd, right? Maybe the Teo twins might be among those who find that absurd. But the question I would ask is why, right? On what grounds? And this naturally takes us back to the questions which should be at the center of any discussion along these lines. What definition of Israelite are we working with, and what methodologies are employed for trying to determine which modern individuals fit with that definition? And with that in mind, let's discuss the DNA of Gedalia from How Music. Because the Teo twins have tried to shift to autosomal DNA, even famously challenging others to, show their autosomal DNA, they would say things like, "Let me see your autosomal," right? Because the Teo twins have done that, in this video, I'm going to focus on Gedalia's autosomal DNA. Of course, if one were to insist instead on a patrilineal definition of Israelite, autosomal DNA would be irrelevant. But, oh, and by the way, with that in mind, for those who are curious about Gedalia's paternal haplogroup, it's a subclade of T, which is itself pretty interesting. He has a Facebook forum dedicated to that haplogroup, which I'll also link to in the video description. But and as I said, the Teo twins have shifted their emphasis to autosomal DNA. So let's briefly get into Gedalia's autosomal DNA, right? Let's first look at the results that he got from GEDmatch. And I want to ask if anyone who's familiar with Teo Ministries remembers the days when they, the twins over at Teo Ministries and others around them used to appeal to GEDmatch. Remember, that was really popular in recent years, but unfortunately they seem to have quietly moved away from GEDmatch, and they seem to not want to discuss it anymore. But whatever the case, on your screen is Gedalia's results in the Gedrosia Ancient Eurasia K6 calculator. Now, in my opinion, this is a bit more serious than just, tinkering around with Oracle results, which is what others were doing when they were appealing to GEDmatch. See, this is GEDmatch proper, right? This is not something from Oracle. And this particular calculator listed Gedalia's admixture as being 36% Natufian, which is to say that as per the samples used by this particular calculator, 36% of Gedalia's DNA was more like the Natufian samples they used than any of the other samples that the calculator used. And I wanted to share this because that's a lot higher than a lot of the people who try to wave off Latinos in toto might get on this calculator, right? And aside from that, we can look at what he got on Eran El Hayek's platform, which is the Ancient DNA Origins platform. That platform, which was promoted and celebrated by a bunch of folks recently, has listed Gedalia as 28% Israelite in the general categories. And I want to make clear and emphasize that this is his score.
This is the point we're making. This is the point I was trying to make earlier. Ancient ancestry Israelite, 28%. This is a brother, How Music, haplogroup T. All right, he's going to score closer than a lot of African Americans, unless you might be haplogroup J, but even still on the autosomal level, he's going to score higher.
Yo, I didn't even catch that, but he's 22% Stone Age African too.
Yeah,
being Hispanic at that, right? He was 5% Sub-Saharan African in the GEDmatch joint. But I'm gonna let this play out because it's only like another minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Or in the general categories. That's an important distinction, as some will throw around a number that they got on El Hayek's platform. They'll say, "Oh, I got 15%." But they'll do that without clarifying that they likely got that against an individual sample. It's not their percentage for Israelite in the general categories. That's an important distinction. Some of the folks who promoted El Hayek's platform got very low scores or even nothing at all for Israelite in the general categories. Yet this gentleman, Gedalia from How Music, got 28%. And in the Naphtali tribal kit on El Hayek's platform, when Gedalia was compared with other modern populations in the Middle East, he scored above what was listed, the other samples, right? And I feel compelled to point out that this wouldn't happen for a lot of the folks who wave off Latinos in their entirety. So again, these figures are significant, at least relative to some of the discussions on Israelite DNA that have been going around the internet. And with that in mind, let me say that the reason why I wanted to briefly show Gedalia's results is because I think they serve as a cautionary tale in a couple of different ways. First, for certain folks who want to go the autosomal route, they're not being honest and consistent about what sort of results they're getting on the very platforms they've promoted, whether it be GEDmatch or Iran El Hayek's HNDNA origins. Some of the very people they reject, whether they be mainstream Jews or light-skinned Latinos, are doing significantly better on those platforms than they themselves did. And honestly, Gedalia might be an example of how there might be more overlap between certain Latinos and certain Sephardic Jews than some realize or are willing to accept. Second, if one wants to criticize the One West Tribes chart, I'll probably agree with you on a lot of the criticism. But there's a difference between saying the chart lumps too many people together on the one hand and disdainfully waving off anyone who appeared on the part of the chart you don't like on the other. But with that, I'll close this video here. It's a very brief video. I just wanted to submit the example of Gedalia into the public conversation. I'm not telling you, just to be clear, I'm not telling you to conclude that he is an Israelite, but I would ask that you at least be clear and consistent with your methodology for attempting to assess those sorts of questions. At the very least, I personally am interested in seeing what else he brings out, whether about his own DNA or DNA in general. And I'm also looking forward to see whether his documentary idea comes to fruition. Simply put, think of this short video as a mere conversation starter. And as there's surely more to be said, feel free to share any comments, questions, criticisms, or objections. Share promoted El Hayek's platform.
Hey, More, did you say Judah Nazareth was he was half Spanish, or he has Spanish ancestry?
Yeah, Puerto Rican on one side. Yeah.
Yeah. So he might on El Hayek's platform here, his website, he might score, pretty close to Israelite, according to his autosomes, depending.
But here's the thing though, is so again, and this is something that we've seen consistently when we're comparing and contrasting Aaron El Hayek's test and whatnot, is that he could, but he's not going to score higher than an Ashkenazi Jew is.
Exactly.
And that's the whole point Yeshua was saying earlier. Is if you're gonna go by the autosomal concept, you're gonna suck on the shot. Yeah, you're cutting your nose to spite your face all day. It just is like so. I was just saying this in the comment section in the booze video and whatnot. They were like, it's crazy because like with the Tail twins, like they had to move Israel and whatnot, just like just like Yeshua was talking about, right? Except they moved it to Ethiopia, which is crazy. And which is crazy for them because like autosomally, they're not the Levantine, nor are they Ethiopian. To make this argument, you got to move it to West. You got to move Israel to West Africa, fam. That's the only way this argument works is you move Israel to West Africa, and that's not gonna make sense, fam. You gotta do way too. You gotta suspend belief way too cold for that one.
And it's not like we're trying to shoot down the idea that West Africans or saying that we are, connected to ancient Israelites. The point is that y'all making extremely bad arguments. There's a whole nother route you can go instead of this pseudo nonsense.
See, this is a funny thing too. Is like, so this is something me and Ibri talk about all the time, right? Like, so I was on, so me and Ibri were on a vocab channel, just like Judah was. Judah was just on there talking about a nice 30 whatnot, right? He's debating vocab right now on the Gospel Truth about Isaiah 53 and whatnot, right? So if you go and watch our interview with the vocab, you come away with the understanding, like, so we don't say that all Americans are Israelites or whatnot, African Americans are Israelites or whatnot, right? But what we point out is when you go based upon our model of the tri-para group breakdown and whatnot, that it seems most likely that the majority of African Americans descend from Shem, right? At least on a paternal lineage, right? Like that's saying something, right? That's saying something in and of itself, right? That's a big claim in and of itself.
It is a big deal because it kind of excludes a lot of other haplogroups from being Semitic at all. So it is a big deal.
Yeah, like so they're telling us we can't be Semitic at all, and we're saying no, majority. It looks like most like based upon our model, most of us are going to be Shemitic based upon that concept, right? Are we saying most of us are Israel? No. But like even that's not good enough for people, right?
I know.
Even that's not good. Like being a descendant of Shem ain't good enough for people, right? And like that's the best we can do right now without having the DNA of a patriarch, right?
Exactly. And the consensus among most geneticists is that DE is more than likely uh, edges out the other haplogroup that could be considered Semitic as well. So, I mean, and then you could make your arguments from that standpoint. You have to go beyond just Israel. Israel is a very small portion of the
Right.
Semitic line,
Fact.
And y'all just want to hold on to just Israel, Israel, Israel. Like you want to start everything like that's the beginning. That's the beginning of time. Prior to Jacob, there was his forefathers, which came down the Semitic line. The first thing you have to prove is whether or not you belong to that Semitic line before you can even have the discussion about whether or not you're Israel. Can you prove that you're Semitic? Or can you show substantial evidence that you're Semitic? Now you have ground to stand on.
But stand on what though, right? And so this is what's getting back to what Yeshua was talking about. A lot of these cats are making erroneous claims for crazy reasons and whatnot, right? What's the need to prove that every African American is a descendant of Jacob or whatnot? What's the need for that? There is no need for that. You're trying to special plead on something, fam, and that's the whole thing.
Comfort in numbers. Comfort in numbers. The larger the number, the more comfortable you are. Got to get everybody on board.
How about being comfortable in the truth, though, right? Like, so here's the truth. Like, so I'll say for a fact, I don't believe that I am a descendant of Abraham. I do not believe so. Do I claim to be a descendant of the nation of Israel? 100%. And is that still biblical? 100%.
Yes, it is.
And so this is something we try to point out to people. If you want to be realistic about pointing out lineage and any potential connection to biblical people, like the most you're going to be able to do is use your DNA to connect yourself to people who are making these claims and whatnot, like in West Africa and other places that we descend from. So does everybody in West Africa claim to be a Jew? No. Are there certain people who claim to have certain connections to the Levant? Yeah. Do some of us connect to them people? Yeah. So it's right and proper to connect to that kind of stuff, right? But it's like if you're going to extrapolate this concept, like no, everybody got to be the same thing. Well, all right, fam, it's never going to shake out, fam, and it's never going to shake out for the same exact. So every argument that people try to use against Ashkenazi Jews is for why they can't be the people. Like no matter what argument you want to use and whatever genetic argument you want to use, we've gone through all of them, fam. Every argument you apply to them is even more applicable to us as African Americans. Every last one of them. Whatever argument you think counts them out, it counts us out even more.
Some of us could be Jokdanites. Some of us could be Elamites. Some of us could be Moabites. Some, you know what I'm saying? Like when we run in the gamut, the spectrum of Shemites.
Some of us might not be none of that, fam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might not be none of that, fam.
But we fit the curses, Ak.
Yeah. Some of us could be Midianites. Like, we run in the gamut of Shemites. You know what I mean? But people want to be, they want to be holding to this small group of Israel.
And like Yeshua said, it's like you're trying to discount someone else to prove who you are. Like that's a conflict. Like that is an argument from silence in a lot of ways, right? And that's a really weak argument to try to stand on, fam. That's a horrible argument to try to stand on. We can do way better than that. Using genetics, linguistics, material culture, all that type of stuff here. But on top of that, like, here's the question. Like, it's legitimate for people of African American descent to ask the question, who are we? Where do we come from? But then we got to sit back and actually just like we have to take the truth with that, fam. We don't get to just start making stuff up, fam. The reality is we descend from people who were taken from multiple parts of Africa who do not have the same exact lineage, right? Who do not have the same exact. We have more haplogroup diversity amongst us than Ashkenazi Jews have, fam. More haplogroup diversity. We are a mixed multitude within ourselves. Just because you can look at a group of us and be like, oh, y'all got the same skin tone. Fam, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. At one point in time, the whole world was black. You can't say like, oh, we all got this. If you want to say we all descend from Adam, all right, cool, I got you. But beyond that, like, fam, you can pick out an Adam and his Islander. You can pick out an Austronesian. You can pick out an African American. You can pick out a whole bunch of people. And they're going to be black with different haplogroups, man. So what does being black mean? And if I'm black, just because I'm black, again, how do you know I don't descend from a slave master or whatnot? You don't. And so just this whole concept, like if the autosomal argument, you're making a phenotype argument. That's all it comes down to. You're saying Ashkenazi Jews can't be Jewish because they're white, and you're Jewish because you're black. That's the simplicity of the argument and whatnot. And unfortunately, that's not the case. And people like Judah should know that better than anybody. Should know that better than anybody because of your own admixture and the admixture of your children.
Yeah. Zayed, converts is not an issue for us. I mean, this has been going on, since the inception of Israel. So converts is not an issue for us.
Yeah, I got no issue with converts. Who got an issue with converts, man? Because here's the cool part. What you're going to find is you're going to find a legal system that involves people converting to Judaism and the Bible, or converting to the religion of the Jews and the Bible and whatnot. What you're not going to find ever is the conversion based upon skin tone. Ever.
That's funny. That's usually the barometer to tell if someone's an Israelite or not is how you look, skin tone, hair texture. We were talking about that in the chat about, people get mad at Queen Taib because Queen Taib don't have kinky hair, and our mommy, she has, loose hair, and people don't like that because the idea is with Afrocentrics, ancient Egypt got to be all black, and all black features, kinky hair, prognosticism. And the people that look the same have a lot of diversity. African Americans have a lot of diversity amongst them. And so trying to put us all in one basket does not work. And you guys are trying to run out of some DNA.
For your shoe, don't they call America Egypt as well? On a dollar bill, so why would we be any different?
America and Egypt were a melting pot. So if you claim, this is second Egypt, well, there's a melting pot.
Yeah, you got to accept that part of it too. You can't just accept that, say that it's Egypt, this is the new Egypt or this is Egypt, and you don't only want to accept one part of it. You got to accept it all. It was the same melting pot.
Shalom,
Zaya.
Shalom,
I was just telling y'all because you already know, when I tried to do the genetic argument, I got found over here. So, they don't really know enough about genetics or DNA to even make an argument because the only thing that they're going to use is, Onias the third, then the Talmud talks about converts, and they're going to be like, well, all Jewish people descend from them. That's what they're going to say. All the Jewish people descend from them, and then they're probably going to bring up Gladimus, and then, it's just, that's what I'm saying. It's like they haven't took the time to actually go through the papers. I've been through the papers with Hebrew and Moore. So it's like, you feel me? At the end of the day, it's kind of like, these are the arguments that they're going to use. They're like, oh, well, now it's the third time. We had people come in there that wasn't Israelites. And,
what on nice third got to do with genetics, figure?
Because they're going to say that the converts basically their haplogroup entered into the nation of Israel. So, and then they're gonna go back to the curses and be like, see, well, these people came in and they ruled over you. So I mean, you know how that goes. So it's like that's what he said. And then like the Rabbi Akiva thing in the Talmud, where it talks about him being
Okay,
a
so what does
cowboy.
any of that got to do with our haplogroups though? Like, so they're like, so let's just say for sake of argument, there's an infiltrated group of people. Okay, what the hell they got to do with our like? Should we have their haplogroup?
Well, what they're gonna, well, I mean, like, you know, because I've argued that same argument, right? Like even with Gorilla Hebrew, like, you know, he still called Gorilla Hebrew his brother. He still say he an Israelite. I'm like, no, you're not. But you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, he's like, nah, his father is black. Come on, bro.
Skin
Like,
color.
Okay, but what is
does
his
that
father's
mean?
father? So right, this is the ridiculousness of you are what your father is. Like, so okay, so you're either making the claim, like, well, this is what it is. You're making the claim that your great grandfather could be could be your man Candy from the Django and whatnot, right? And but as long as you're black, right? As long as he just kept raping black women, and their children had kids with black people and whatnot, that doesn't, you don't descend from him for real. Like, bro, that's crazy. That's not how that works. That's not how that works in any way, shape, or form, right? And so that's not how the Bible works either, fam.
I think that they don't get also. I think that they don't get also is that once that's part of your genome, and I mean like your direct ancestry, there's no getting around that. Like, I don't care
Yeah.
how dark you are. I don't care.
Nope.
You descend from a European. So instead of you being able to claim direct lineage on your Y chromosome all the way back to Cameroon or Nigeria or any of these places, you can no longer do that. I don't care how dark you are. And your autosomes may have all of that in it, but your direct lineage now points to Ireland, Great Britain, or somewhere else.
Scandinavia.
In a whole another direction.
And there's nothing wrong with that, fam. It just is what it is.
Exactly.
Black Hebrew Israelites teach that they ruled the Middle Ages in Europe anyway. They call it the Dark Ages. They say they ruled that. They King Henry III and all that.
Yeah,
so they should be rejoicing. They should be rejoicing that their DNA coming back from Europe.
Exactly. You have direct lineage from those people. Dude, no matter how dark you were, how, you know what I'm saying? Or you could have been
mulatto black Khazars, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you belong to those. That's where you belong. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Y'all claiming King James R1B. Y'all claiming them?
The problem we have with the whole situation is that y'all are just racist like a mug, and some of y'all descend from these people. And we're just trying to point out to you, this is why it's like we're taking that same knife and we're sticking it back in you and turning it and pouring salt into the wound, because we're trying to make you understand. We're not doing this to be malicious. We're trying to show you just how dumb you sound with this racial shit. You sound just like the rednecks that, you know what I'm saying? It's like a redneck that find out, or a KKK member find out, you know, that he directly descends from a Nigerian, even though he's 95% European. Yeah, no matter how you point your direct lineage on your Y chromosome, your male side, it points to Africa. You can't try to say, well, I'm European, my autosomes. No, you can't claim none of that on your parent or on your paternal side.
Judah Nazareth got kids with a Japanese woman, man. Respect and shout out to his household. But here's the thing. Autosomally, your kids are not going to match the population you come from in America. They just not, because they got components from East Asia now. Go ahead.
But not only that, if he has sons and if he's living in Japan and they decide to have children with other Japanese women, those children are going to look more and more Asian over time, but they still directly go back to you and wherever you came from.
They come from your ball sack, nigga.
No, yeah, that's fact. Like Judah got a son. Judah got a son. Like, he got a son. He got a few kids doing that, right? And like, and to be real about it, if you were to look at them, you wouldn't say that they were Japanese or black. You'd be like, oh, you might say they're Filipino or something like that, right? You might say that they're Thai or something like that, right? You might you wouldn't even you wouldn't even say that they're Japanese.
25 generations from now, his son and his son's progeny continue to procreate with Asian women. All the males in his
Yes.
family are going to point back to him and whoever he came from. I'm talking
Right.
about Judah now.
This is what D-Red told him. This is exactly what D-Red told him. This is some funny stuff because, like, so me and Judah talk about this stuff, right? Like, so there's a group of people in Japan called the Barakumen, right? That they mostly roam through yakuza and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But like they're on some but they're looked down upon in society when not based upon a lineage concept, right? That they're supposed to come from other groups of people and whatnot, right? And so they call them black men for real. It's on some funny stuff, right? But bottom line is like, so on the phenotype thing, I believe they came from like Filipino or some other people that were on the southern part of Japan. I think I might have that one mixed up with another group of people. Bottom line is they come from another group of people that have intermixed with Japanese and whatnot, right? And so it's a big admixture event and whatnot. But like they're like big and like they do rap music and all kind of stuff. And like so we used to joke about their stuff because they're like black people and whatnot, right? Like legit. And so it's but like how to explain this. So there's the admixture concept is all around Judah all day long. Like it's in the musical culture he deals with. It's in his everyday culture with his family. All that type of stuff, right? He can't get away from the admixture concept, and so using autosomal DNA, it literally cuts off. Like again, Yeshua is trying to be nice about this, right? But it doesn't just cut you off, but even cuts your children off even more so, because like you said, like you've now had like the introduction of East Asian admixture, whatnot. So not only on a phenotype level, right? Are they going to like if your son mixes with a Japanese woman or whoever, let him mix with somebody who's not black, period, fam. Let him pick whoever. I mean, let him get with a white girl. It's gonna switch the whole game up, fam.
I want to say one more thing to Judah. I want to say one more thing to him. So if you are a natural or a Semitic Israelite, somebody that come from the loins of Shem and happen to be a part of this small tribe of Israelites that come from the line of Shem, 25 generations from now, if your sons and your grandson and your great-great-grandson going down continue to procreate with Asian women, those males are still going to be descended from an Israelite 25 generations from now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thanks.
you need to understand that when you start looking at European people who may have descended from an actual Shemite and now look like an Irishman or a German, or what, he still descends from an Israelite
or a Russian,
Israelite,
look at
Russian,
Derek Jeter.
anything exactly, or Iranian, because I heard you mention Iranians today. And if you know scripture, you know that when what was it, 759 BCE, when the Assyrians took the Israelites into captivity, didn't they go into and then also the Babylonian captivity? Didn't they go into the Iran region?
Yes.
Into
Yes.
Iran.
They were in
So
that, close to that region.
you're
Yeah.
you're railing against Iranian Jews, saying they're not Israelites if they are Israelites. I think that's what you said. You're railing against people and you have no understanding of what you're doing. Are you?
Yeah. What are these places? Where were they at? Y'all people, like, y'all gotta understand geography. I get back
And
to
it's in
Derek
Bible.
Jeter.
It's in Bible. It's in
That's what
Bible.
I'm saying. They don't understand geography, Sean. That's
Can
the
you pull up?
problem.
Can you pull up a map of
Yes.
the Assyrian captivity and the
I
Babylonian
got you.
captivity and to where they went to?
I got you. So
We're gonna do that next too, just for an extra
biblical.
lesson.
Yeah, let's get that map real quick. We'll get back to I'm about to roast them on the Derek Jeter thing. the way they think it. The
Yeah, I
math
see
is
that
not
right
math.
there. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, but we got some more. We got some more browbeating to do.
We got some more geography to teach. Because these people
And to
obviously
be
don't know
clear,
geography.
and to be clear, so nobody's tripping. Nobody is tripping on Judah's family or his kids or whatnot.
At
Ain't nobody
all.
none of
At
in
all.
any way, shape, or form. So don't get it twisted like
Nah,
that. And
this
Judah,
ain't
you know I
Simon.
got mad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
Judah,
not
you know I
begging
got
on
mad
you.
respect for you and your family when else, so you know it's
We
nothing
ain't
like that.
begging on you.
Yeah.
Just trying to
Not at all.
make you understand something, bro. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to, because you called us out. You said, let's hear what the Yap Gang got to say. Here we are.
Hey, don't call Candyman 3 times. He might show up. You know what I'm saying? Don't call Candyman, man. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, here's a map of Babylon. Then I'm gonna give you the modern map today, so you can know what this overlaps today, right? Type this in, and as you guys about to see on your screen here, boom. This is the Babylonian Empire, right? You know, Jews would be in his empire around the 5th century BCE, right? That's why we don't understand. What blows my mind is y'all chose to read this document, this Bible, and the Torah, and you claim to be the people in the book, but for some reason you don't know where the locations of the places in the book are taking place.
And don't they have pictures? And don't they have pictures of the maps in some of these Bibles?
Yeah, they do. I
And
grew up.
not only that, we're giving you Old Testament and New Testament maps of ancient Jews' travels, their diaspora. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so as you can see, this stretches forth in the Levant, the Mesopotamian region. You see Babylon right here, all the way to the right, going towards what we call Iran today, and it's in Iraq. So watch this. This is a modern map. Get a good look at it. This is that region right here. Iraq, where Baghdad is. Baghdad meaning the city of God. It's around this region here. So there were Jews in that region. There were Babylonian Jews. There was Jews being taken in captivity there. There was interaction going on between Jews and the people in that land. So what are you talking about? I don't get it, Sean. And this is why I don't like Israelites taking these deep dives into deep topics. It's like, maybe you need to slow down, like my brother Moore says, and start learning basic geography,
What you
basic
talking about, Willie?
science, basic reading and understanding. Like, we got to go to the basics with you guys, because you don't understand that Jews were in these lands here. I got a whole book about this, actually. You see the Babylonian Empire. You see Babylon over here to the right, as we just seen.
But you
So the
know what,
modern
you
map.
shoot, he gonna use the different subclades to be like, this person, oh, he's an Israelite. And then, like he did the little Nicolas Cage thing. He put that out on
Yeah,
me
well, he
one
better
time.
come right. Yeah, well, he better come right when he start dealing with
No,
subclades, because he can't.
Yeah.
He does not know
here's the
subclades the way
difference.
we do.
Here's the difference. The subclades you're going to pull are going to match the region that we're talking about. That's going to be the problem. They're going to match this region here known as the Levant and surrounding areas known as the Middle East. Can you say the same for the majority of African Americans? Can you say the same? Can you match the subclades of modern African Americans to the Iraqi region, to the Syrian region, to Saudi Arabia, to Iran? Can you do it?
You can't do it haplogroups or autosomes, fam.
Come on, man. You behind the 8 ball.
Either or, fam.
You read
Look,
one study and you proficient.
the Median Empire is all the way up here, going into Anatolia, going towards the Black Sea region. There's Nineveh right there. Isn't the book in the Apocrypha taking place in Nineveh? Y'all know the book. Now they're going to disown the Apocrypha now. You got a whole book where they're keeping a feast and holy day in Nineveh. They up here. They up here going towards the Caucasus region. This is why y'all need to learn geography, man. This is why you got Israelites going around teaching that the land of Israel is in sub-Saharan Africa, because y'all don't know geography.
Nah, bro, that's the white man science.
That's the white man. That's the white man math.
Geography and genetics. And it's either ethnography or logia, you know what I'm saying? It's the white man science. Zaya, walk me through this right quick, bro. I need help. Okay, so you was talking about in the Ice 30 Converse. Walk me through it slow, bro. So how did Judah run up on the autosomal argument?
Well, because of the fact that, he's going to say that, the Greeks and the Edomites, when they were being accepted as converts, they were mixing. So they're going to say that they became the majority and the rest of the Israelites got kicked out the land. So it's going to be the burden of proof going to be on us to probably pretty much show like, oh, okay, these people that you're talking about, who
Right.
are
That's
them in the
the same argument to make. Hold on, real quick. That's the same argument that I make against anybody trying to use the Cohen model haplotype as the end all be all to the Levite genetics or whatnot, right? So you can go back and watch on Vocab show where me and Ibri are walking through the Samaritan DNA and whatnot, and showing that this haplogroup E that's still there, right? And it's the majority of it is the 100% of a particular group of Levites or whatnot, right?
But see, that's the whole thing. It don't matter.
They've been there for a long time.
But see, that's the whole thing. It don't matter if they eat or not. He's just gonna say autosomally looking at them, they don't look like us, so they're not us.
So what? So who in the Middle East autosomally looks like a West African?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's what he's gonna say. They don't look
so that's his burden to prove.
Well,
like, okay,
that's the whole thing. He's gonna
so who's the autosomal? So here's the question, right? Like, so with the haplogroup or autosomal concept, you still got the same issue to deal with, right? Who is your ancient model that you're dealing with, right? Like, who is your ancient sample? Like, we don't have a sample of a patriarch, right? So we're SOL on that one, right? So all right, cool. We gotta take that L, right? So who's your autosome? Like, so at this juncture, though, we are getting autosome. We're getting people who are supposedly ancient Israelites now, and their autosomes are not looking West African, right?
Yeah, but but see, that's the whole entire point, though. He's gonna say that because, well, he would even say like the West Africans or the Hamites or whatever, and we don't look like them. So I mean, it's kind of like a circular argument at that point because he's gonna say, "Oh, well, we're not them. We don't look like them." When
we don't look like them because we're here in America and we're mixed.
Yeah.
Like there's more to this story than just what they want to shade it. We don't look like them. Of course, we don't look like them. We look like a little bit everything. We got Spanish. We got Asian. We got indigenous American. We got European. We mixed with a lot of stuff. You go through some people autosomes, and you're gonna see 3 or 4 or 5 different ethnic groups in their autosomes. So what is he talking about?
Yeah, because of the fact that, like I said, like it comes down to the phenotype thing, right? Because of the phenotype that we have now. Like, I mean, like I'm pretty sure we didn't look like this when we got off the slave ships or whatever the case may have been.
That's no different than the European. That's no different than the European.
Bro, it's a bunch of us like walking in Nigeria right now.
It's no different from the Jews that are European that might have. Let's all right, for argument's sake, haplogroup E, because we're dealing with West Africans, haplogroup E. Most of these brothers don't have haplogroup E. Some of these Jews up in Europe, Ashkenazim, Sephardics, Iranian Jews, have haplogroup E amongst them. If you're not going to look like straight out of Africa, you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to look like, it's the same thing with Europe. Right. When you're in Europe, you're not going to look, you're going to look European. Like these people are, this is so pseudo. They, you know what I mean? They just grabbing straws. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
You're going to look like the population you mix with. It's that simple. Your kids going to look like the population they mix with. They look like Asians. It's just that simple.
Right. Just like his kids.
Yeah, come on,
Any
bro.
son
Like
he has is
you
going to
got
be
the empirical
directly from
evidence
him.
right in front of your face. It's staring you right in your face. You got
Right.
children, bro. Like, stop
Yes.
playing. This is
Yes.
goofy. You in goofy territory right now.
Yeah.
And 5 generations from now, your great 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 grandson is going to look probably straight Asian, and he's still going to be from you. And
Look at
wherever
that.
you're just going to
Nah,
point to your
according,
direction.
but see, this is what I'm saying though. According to his logic, right? He thinks that even if his kid still mixes, and this ain't me talking bad about your kid, but he thinks like in his logic, even if his kid still mixes, they're still gonna carry a black phenotype, and that's not
And that's
Impossible.
Bruh,
false.
that's
bruh,
impossible.
bruh,
Impossible.
Look at the screen. Look at the screen.
We've seen his kids, fam.
They Asian.
Yeah.
They Asian looking. But look at the screen. Derek Jeter. His father's black. His mother's white. Look how he look. The dude look like Tyson Fury, man. Dude look like a Russian.
Yeah. He looked like a good looking Tyson Fury.
Yeah. They don't change his ancestry. Look at his grandkids. His
Yeah, but see,
grandkids are still the product of a black grandfather.
These
There's no way
children.
around it.
Exactly.
Those his grandson.
Yeah.
yeah, I be trying to tell him that, but he don't get it because it's, like I said, like even if you was, let's just say a Jewish person, and then let's just say you were a North African white Jewish person, whatever the case may be, he would still say that that person is not a Jew because of his phenotype. Like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
person,
We got to work
Because
for that. We got to work for that. It's called idiocy.
Yeah.
It's called
You
special
know,
pleading.
as long as it's not it's special pleading, because he's special pleading for his own son. If he's saying that they're always going to look dark skinned, or they're always going to be Israel or whatever, 5, 6, 8 generations down the line, he's special pleading at that point because his kids is close to him and dear to him. You know what I mean? But anybody
Right.
else that has to go through this,
What did the
anybody
Israelites?
else, anybody else that has to go through this on the European side that may directly descend from an African, they don't belong to us no more. But if that's the case, then the same thing would happen to your children 5, 6, 7 generations down the line. And again, I'm not disparaging your children, but I'm just trying to get you to see the logic here.
Right. Your children are not your children if they don't look like you. That's basically how it goes. It's just idiocy. The same thing Teo then were trying to say. Because Teo don't look like their ancestors.
Nope.
Right? Or do they? We don't even know how they look. But anyway.
Yeah.
do these brothers believe in the book of Tobit? Do they believe in any of the damn Bible? Do they believe any other books? Because here's the thing. Tobit is an alleged person that lived during the deportation of the Assyrians, and he ends up in Nineveh, right? Nineveh is in northern Iraq today. And here's another question too to that, Judah. You do realize, what do the people look like in northern Iraq? If Jews are there, they're mixing with the population. What are their children? What are their progeny going to look like? The people they're around, the people they're having sex with. It's just that simple. So if Tobit's in Nineveh and northern Iraq, his progeny is going to mix with the locals and produce people that look like northern Iraqis. Oh, now Tobit didn't do that. He was a God-fearing man, and y'all believe that they didn't mix. What about the other Israelites that mixed? That are in Nineveh, that are in northern Iraq. We could do this over and over with every part of the world that is said to have diasporic Jews. The Jews that are in Italy, they mixing with the local population. What are their children going to look like? The local population. They're going to look like Southern Italians. Right? The Jews that were in Thrace, they're going to look like the Thracians. The Jews that were in Greece, you're going to say the Jews weren't in Greece now? We know they were in Greece. We have the material culture to show it. Hello, the Maccabees. Hello. We know they were there.
It's like us having 20% European admixture on average, right? Like we had to come to America to pick that one up.
Exactly.
And if they don't want to go with the material culture, it's in scripture, the Maccabees. Like, if you don't want to deal with any science or any white man, nothing, you just want to deal with scripture, it's there.
Come on, man.
Yeah, another problem is that it's like they for some
I
odd
wanted to say
reason they
something. Hold
think
on, hold
that.
on.
Oh man.
Zaya, I want to say something to Laban real quick. Hey, Laban, uh, we're not vocab. I just want to make that very clear. We're not
And,
vocab.
and it definitely it's not an Isaiah 53 debate, fam. It's genetics, fam. It's not something you can argue, fam.
Yeah, and another thing too is that it's like for them, I guess they think that Israel didn't mix with other nations, and I guess we all
And
just
we shouldn't have no sub-Saharan African admixture, fam.
Didn't
yeah.
didn't Judah didn't Judah uh mix didn't Judah I'm talking about Judah himself mixed with a Canaanite? Like did like I'm lost.
According to them, that did it did well. The Canaanites were black, so their skin color wasn't the
Just because
same.
their skin color is black doesn't mean they belong to us.
So
But that's the
okay,
whole thing, though, Sean. That's the argument. That's the reason why, like,
Foolishness.
they be trying to clown me about the whole genetic thing.
Foolishness. All right.
hold
Well,
on.
hey,
Whoa. So help me understand right quick. So is he claiming eyes black?
Shit, I would guess so. I mean,
they Hamites. They
supposedly
Hamites,
they
but they have to be black.
supposedly they're the Canaanites, the Sinites. So I mean, she would have to be black, but I
So
mean,
eyes a Negro.
I guess so, according to how they view things. That's
They've
what
been
I'm
trying to get
saying.
at this DNA thing for a minute because they've been
Oh,
getting slapped across they've been getting handled. I don't want to be disrespectful, but they've been getting handled by this DNA thing. So they trying to find an angle to like dismantle this thing so they can stay with their 12 tribes chart and everything else.
so I don't know that. So does oh no okay. So Zai does Judah mess with the whole 12 tribe chart or no? I don't remember him doing that.
No, he don't. He doesn't agree with the 12 tribes chart,
No, I didn't think he did,
but it's basically like he do
but he does think
subscribe
we're
to.
Judah. Yeah,
Yeah, he does think
yeah.
black
That's what I
and
thought.
Native
Okay,
American
right.
and Hispanic are Jews. But he don't deal with the 12 tribes chart. He says
Hmm.
straight, but he do think that the Native Americans, blacks, and Latinos are Jews, which is kind of the same thing, right? It's kind of like hypocritical, but
So wow.
yeah, it's confusing, right? But I mean, it is what it is, right? Yeah. And white people are Edomites, so it's,
Yeah, and white people's
yeah,
yeah,
it
white
sounds,
people's.
These are all arguments that are archaic and they're going in the trash. And we're going to make sure they go in the trash.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's for sure. Oh no. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
it sounds
we'll
like he
definitely get to
don't
the
believe
bottom of
it.
this one and get this one cleared up and whatnot. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's because he say he don't, but then when you actually have the logical conversation, it's like, okay, you say you don't believe in the 12 tribe chart, but then you feel me, but natives, blacks, and Hispanics are
Yeah,
all
he just
Edomites.
condensed it all. Yeah, I got it. That's what's up. He put it all in one tribe. Okay.
What they call it, like deniable, what they call that? Deniable,
Plausible deniability.
yeah, yeah, that's what it is.
Yep. So like I said, like they're in a debate. Like I said, all they're gonna do is bring up the converts and say like, oh, okay, these people converted, but don't they
Okay, that's
understand
not
like
an issue.
even if some people converted, let's just say they did convert, right? Logically speaking, they would have married into the family eventually.
Yeah,
But if
but
they converted, they're
their Y
around the people.
chromosomes the Y chromosomes and the maternal chromosomes would stay wherever they were. It would never change. They would
Yeah,
have
now I get that part.
autosomes like alhaics, that's when you can go to the alhaic version of things and use autosomes to try to prove who you are.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like autosomally, right? Like let's just say like Israelite men married to women, for like more than a couple generations, like the autosomal DNA is going to be a little bit different from the person who just married a basically of the same tribe, I guess you would want to say. So they're gonna have different looks. Like for them, for some reason, if you don't look like an American Negro or have any features like an American Negro, you're not an Israelite.
That's the stupidest shit in the whole planet Earth.
Exactly. You want to read off some of this Tobit, bro? That's what you bring. Is this Tobit? That's what.
No,
Oh,
this is
something
something else. I was just
Okay.
going to Tobit just to show Israelites was in Nineveh in northern Iraq.
Right. Okay.
These dudes are idiots. Like, here's the thing, bro. Whatever population you go to, and you're dealing with Israel, the scriptures say that they were scattered all over the earth. That's what the scriptures. Y'all claim to be these Bible people. Y'all claim and I am Lucifer. I am the light bringer. But y'all claim that I'm Satan and everything, and I'm anti-Bible and all this. But y'all the ones dismissing the book. You know, the book tell you that the Israelites be scattered all over the earth. They scattered all over the earth. Well, what they doing over there? They mixing with these populations. They having sex with these populations.
And he's dismissing himself, Yeshua, because he's doing the same thing. If he has a Japanese wife and Japanese children, wherever he at, that's who he mixing with.
Yep. We not making they Satan. He's Satan. I'm Satan. You're right. I'm the great adversary. I was brought here to bring pain and hellfire and brimstone on you niggas. Right? It's just that simple, man. And that's big facts. I am Hashatan, the great adversary to you niggas, man. That ain't gonna change. Because here's the thing, we're going to stick with the facts. And the facts is you believe in the book. Allegedly. Because every time something comes out of the book that disagrees with you, the fact that the Israelites are heavily mixed, we see that in the beginning of the Bible, the beginning of the narrative, that they came out of mixed multitude, heavy mix. Judah married Canaanites, right? And these other Israelites are marrying Egyptians. Joseph and his sons are the product of an Egyptian woman. And we know the Egyptians are highly Eurasians, just like the Israelites, by the way. They're Eurasian. Y'all forget? I forgot. Y'all don't study geography. Y'all disregard geography. These people are Levantine people. These people are Eurasians. There's no way that the Israelites would be homogenous if they're scattered across the entire planet, as you guys allegedly believe. If they're scattered across the entire planet, then they are going to be highly admixed. If they're scattered to Poland, they're going to be admixed with the Polish. If they're scattered to China, they're going to be admixed with the Chinese. If they're scattered to Australia, they're going to be admixed with the Australian population. It's just that simple. South Africa, Malagasy, we can go down the list. Anywhere on the planet, if they're there, they're going to admix with those people, because that's what people do.
Oh, hey, yo, too. They gonna bring up all the animals, I guess, that they swab their mouths and be like, oh, well, DNA is fake because they swab the animal
Bro, I
mouth.
can't wait to knock that dumb shit down, bro.
And then they're gonna say, like, on the 23andMe website, it'll say, oh, this is for entertainment purposes. And they gonna bring up those 2 points with this.
So we dealt with that already before. DNA that is going to a lab that you swab from an animal, iguana or something, they will tell you that it's incompatible. Majority of DNA testing companies will tell you that. Credible DNA testing, you can't send something to 23andMe and it's coming from a dog. Those TikTok videos that y'all referencing are frauds. They're fraudulent. Go ahead.
There's industry standards, right? And not all DNA companies use industry standards. Some use sub-industry standards or whatnot, right? And that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the outliers. We're not talking about the outliers. We're talking about people who use scientific scrutiny to a certain level that you can pretty much guarantee and whatnot, right? And like my man's saying, like, if it's not human, it comes like, no, that's incompatible. We can't run through our stuff. It doesn't match.
Yeah, you guys are silly, man. They have companies that test DNA of dogs. You do understand it, right?
Exactly.
There are services that do that. They can differentiate. Mm-hmm. See, again, this is that confirmation bias more I was talking about. Just trying to find anything to try to confirm your bias because you don't like the direction the DNA is pointing towards. The DNA is showing that Ashkenazi Jews do have a legitimate ancestry that goes back to Levantine people during the time frame of the Israelite period.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all can't stand that.
And there's nothing you can do to get around that, fam. There really isn't. And here's the cool part, though, fam. Like, so Like this is what I'm saying. We've already made even an autosomal argument. Like for the same, like for the reverse thing that Yeshua was talking about. Yeshua was talking about admixture stabilizing over time because people were like continued that same admixture within their own culture, whatnot, right? They admix within themselves, basically, right? And so we make the whole reverse argument like, okay, you can make a biblical proof, or you can't modern Jews can't shake the fact, even in the current admixture, they can't shake the fact that based that around the time of their founding, there's a sub-Saharan African admixture, whatnot, right? They can't shake, just like they can't shake that. We can't shake the fact that they got Levantine admixture, fam. There's no two ways about it, fam. It just is what it is. But on certain situations, they can't shake the fact that there's Levantine admixture in certain West African populations, man. We can show that with the autosomals. That's not a big deal, fam. The big deal is when you try to make it apply to one and not the other. You're special pleading, and that's never going to scholastically be taken seriously at all. And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Big facts, more big facts. Everybody tries to truncate information that they're not comfortable with. We deal with this with white supremacists all the time. They don't want to deal with and point out the sub-Saharan African components in their groups or Jewish groups or any group. We just went over to TikToker. She said, oh, they looked at ancient Egyptians and they had 0 sub-Saharan African DNA. That is not true. The paper never said that. But that's what she wants it to say. Same thing with you, Judah. You want these Jewish groups to be all fake and fraud because some way in your mind and your twisted BHI logic, that somehow validates your claim of Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans somehow all being descendants of Jacob. Somehow that's a false equivalency fallacy, what we're dealing with. If you invalidate this group, you can't invalidate them. Everything's pointing toward the dead bodies that are in that region. They are matching with those dead bodies within those regions. Whether you call them convert or authentic, where's your proof? Where's your DNA matching with the dead body? Maybe you do. You need to take a DNA test. Maybe you are a R1BM269 carrier. We don't know. That was a part of the Phoenician or the people that they believe are associated with the Phoenicians are in the land of Israel. We don't know. Many of the maternal lineages we find there consist of L2A, L3. Those are African, sub-Saharan African. So you guys, what you guys do is cherry pick with the information. You're trying to confirm your bias instead of saying, hey, let's accept the information for what it is. The empirical evidence is not going to bend to your ideology. It never works that way. Go ahead, Moore.
I'm really trying to figure this out because, like, on the real, like, Native Americans have less Levantine DNA than African Americans do, fam. Like, that's just a cold pool. Like if you're gonna say that whole group, like, so Latino people, yeah, you're gonna find that Latino people, you're gonna hit some Middle Eastern admixture, whatnot, right? Sure, got that, but like, fam, us is a stretch. You can find it with certain pockets. Shout out to the alien people or whatnot. However, like Native Americans, my G, how are they autosomally like Levantine? Like that, bruh. Come on now.
They fit the curses, Doc. Deuteronomy 28 verse 48, Doc. They got their land taken from them by someone who speaks a language that they don't understand. That's in Deuteronomy.
So you mean the other nations that were in captivity, that were taken into captivity by the Assyrians, the Babylonians, they were Israelites too?
Yeah, right. The Assyrians sacked and ruled other nations as well and made them captives as well.
So
I guess,
how you usually say it, Yashub, like tragedy. Well, how you say that, bro?
Similar experience does not equate to similar ancestry.
Exactly.
Just because someone else goes through a tragedy does not mean you're some way biologically linked to each other. That just doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't 2 Kings 17 say that there was a population brung in after a population was taken out, after Israelites was taken out, of
Yes.
Israel, another population was brung in. Wasn't that population also captive? So they're Israel too. So now you're going to say they weren't converts?
Right, right. In the ancient world, that you got a lot of people displaced from home by invaders. So they would come in, take them, displace them, put them other places, use them for as an auxiliary army, all type of stuff. So if we're going to use this logic of, oh, if they go through this event, then they must be Israelites. Everybody on the planet are Israelites.
Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. The same thing with African Americans, right? So we come off the west coast of Africa. Uh, there's other haplogroups that came over with us. A, B, R came over with us, right? They were in captivity with us. They all Israelites too. These Hamites, these, Eurasians, they're Israelites too. Like, you guys mix and match things where you want to mix and match things. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. How many people are oppressed on the planet Earth? You're going to just make them all Israelites. Oh, they fit the
hmm
curse. They're oppressed. They're getting their land taken from them. They got conquered by a nation. How many times? That's replete in history. A nation that doesn't speak the tongue of the native land attacks. That happens all the time. It happened in Europe. It happened in Africa. It happened within China. That is replete in history. Another nation doesn't speak the language of the autochthonous people there. Oh, brother, that scriptures say that what happened, so they must be Israelites. Come on, man. Y'all got to grow out of that.
You know,
I
another
would say this.
argument.
The people, I would say this. The people who, the other nations who were taken into captivity by other nations, Israel was supposed to be separate from everything that was going on in the world. The worldly things, the people who were doing evil, the people who were conquering other people for whatever reason. He said he would keep you separate from that, right? He said he would keep a specific, I'm not going to say you. I'm going to say he said he would keep a specific people separate from that until you do something wrong, until you know, you go against his word, then he's going to throw you in the mix with the rest of the people that's going through those changes. So
Yeah,
those people are Israel too. Like, it doesn't make sense.
and I think two other arguments that they would try to pose. Another one would be like, okay, in the 17th century, forgot the dude's name per se, but they say that he actually labeled, him as he labeled Shemite, Hamite, Hamo-Semitic, and stuff like that. So they're going to say that the equivalent to equate that to the Bible is a false narrative because they're going to say that this dude was a devout Christian and he labeled these things as such. So those names that we use and try to equate them to the Bible, they don't really make
So
they
why do
have
they still
no
use them then?
sensibility.
Then why do the camps and everybody still use them? Who's Hamite? That term Hamite and Semite and why do they still use them? If somebody in the 17th century made it up,
Yeah,
They're talking about language phylums, man. Who
goodness.
cares? Yeah, they
okay,
used to
yeah.
use the word Hamitic to classify what we call Afro-Asiatic now,
Right,
because he
right,
was a biblical
exactly,
believer, so he put the word Ham and Shem in there.
right.
The truth still remains that everyone speaking those language groups, those languages are related. Not necessarily the people; those languages are related. So people that speak Semitic languages, whether it be Arabic, whether it be any other Semitic derivation or derived language, they go back to one root language. That's the only point. That's a separate thing. That's not saying that they all descend from the same people. We grew past that.
And whether you call them from the scientific term Afro-Asiatic or you call them from a Christian background, Hamido-Semitic, it's still the same population of people.
Yeah, but then their argument is going to be like, well, how can you equate that to the biblical narrative when he doesn't particularly know because he's going to say that the genetics is based off of
These are
population
circular.
groups.
These are they just going in circles, bro. Like,
He wasn't basing it off of anything. This is if this is the 17th century. There is no genetic. He's basing off of, there's black people that speak these languages, and there's Middle Eastern people that speak these languages. Black people back then were all deemed by some biblical scholars to be Ham, and the people of the Middle East were all deemed to be children of Shem. There you go, Hamitic Semitic. This is not hard. This is why he came up with that, because it was a very crude understanding of people groupings based off their understanding of Genesis 10. That's it. We don't follow that, but that's the mind frame of the people back then that were which a lot of the scientists and stuff like that had a biblical background. That's just what it was.
Yeah, and then based off of that, he's saying that these rules are going to be applied to so-called modern population groups that they deem these people as these group of people because they say that that's who they descend from. So it's
No,
like the Jewish people would definitely be Jewish because they took the modern samples of their
See,
DNA
bro, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm
based
cool
off
on all
of
these
language.
they arguments. Fuck all the they arguments. What can you prove about what the fuck you saying? So you're saying, like, if the argument is autosomal is the best, all right, what's the model? Run it down. Show me the show
The scientific
demonstrate
evidence.
demonstrate the science, fam.
Exactly.
Demonstrate the model. Don't tell me the model. Demonstrate the model.
Because
Walk
we've
me through it from
demonstrated our
beginning to
model
end.
over and over and over and over again. Nobody has put forth a model. Like
Yeah, ain't no one trying to debate no red herrings and no straw man. Like, bro,
right.
we didn't say none of that shit they talking about. That ain't got nothing to do with us.
Nobody has shown a phylogenetic tree, and showed a phylogenetic tree like we've done, and break down who these people are. If you're just going to make arguments off of just autosome and this, that, and the third, and not show me a genetic tree, you got to show me a model. Show me a model, and then we can go from there. Because if you, I guarantee, if you show me a model, I'm a rip it to shreds. I'm gonna run right through it.
Yeah, you got to demonstrate how modern African Americans are ancient Levantine people with autosomes, fam. You show us, we'll shut up, fam. We'll eat that.
Right. You show it and you demonstrate what's what, and it's stronger than our model. We're gonna, we'll have to regress.
But this is why people run to the pseudo stuff, though, Zai, because you already know what it is, fam. Like, if you want to start refuting arguments with this stuff, you got to get deep into the information now. You can't just do a cursory study. You got to really study this stuff now.
And you can't run all over the place. When you put a model, this is why people don't like putting models down, because when you put a model down, you got to stick to the damn model. And this is what geneticists do. And this is what paleontologists do. This is what archaeologists do. You put a model down, right? And then you wait for it to be refuted, or you wait for it to be upheld.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, like I said, these are just some of the things that I know that they're gonna argue because a lot of the times they have these arguments. Or
The
they had
first
these
thing I want to
arguments
see is a
with me.
model, Zaya. The first thing I want to see is a model. The first thing I want to see is a model.
If you come, if you start off with special pleading, a straw man, and a red herring, bro, it's gonna be a bad day.
It's gonna be a long night. Yeah,
it's gonna be a bad day, bro.
Yeah. Show me a model. That's what I want to see. Show me your model, and I want to see it laid out on paper. I want to see it, or some kind of presentation. Show me the model. Show me a phylogenetic tree, and point to each one of these haplogroups, and you tell me what's what. You tell me. Tell me what your model says. And
No, I definitely agree. But like I said, they're gonna do that because of the fact that they don't really know enough about
all right then. Well,
genetics.
then there's no argument. Then they're making just I had no disrespect. I don't mean to cut you off, bro, because you cool with us. We've been doing this since Clubhouse. You know how we get down. We've been doing it against the MENA population, other Israelites, Christians. We've been doing it. How long we been doing this, Zaya?
About like 3 years now.
And the reason why you're making the arguments for us when you're in certain circles, amongst, certain brothers that you around, you make our arguments because you feel our arguments are the strongest when you've seen our model tested. Have you or have you not?
No, you're right.
Against everyone.
Yo, Judah was saying he was. Hey, no, Judah was saying he was respecting the argument as I was making it. I hit him with the whole with the haplogroup E proto-Semitic argument, right?
Yeah, I get.
And he was like, "I like that." I'm like, all right, cool. If you digging that, bro, what the problem is? But again, the problem is this: like, so it's just people having to get out of old doctrines, and that's all it is, bro. Just letting the old stuff go. Like,
and they don't want to let it go. These are old. Exactly. Why I didn't mean to cut you off. These are
you good. You got it. You hear what I'm saying? They're old arguments, bro.
And we're trying to get rid of these old One West arguments. They are causing us more damage than good.
Facts.
We're not telling nobody they're not Israel unless you really not Semitic. Like, we could demonstrate, with a high probability that you're not this or you're not that. We could demonstrate some stuff for you, but like the arguments that's been being made, this is why every time they get to argue with certain people in the Christian circles or whatever, they start hitting walls. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Every once in a while we win, every once in a while they win. Every once in a while we win, every once in a while they win. All right. Well, I haven't seen anybody come against, our model and really win. I haven't seen it yet, no matter who it was.
No.
Yeah, but also they don't really even know that y'all have different models. Like, I had to learn like the different models. I had to learn like who agree with who and who agree with what. Like, I mean, y'all all basically have the same base model, but y'all differ in certain aspects. It's just like, us in the Torah community, like we all have the same.
That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But the basis, that model, and shout out to my bro James. You know what I'm saying? But that model, you know what I'm saying? All the work that was put in, you know what I'm saying, over the years, just trying to figure this out. Shout out to Yeshua, Avery, all of them. Like, you know what I'm saying, just working this thing out. And then having the balls to go public with it. With anybody.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like they haven't got a chance to see you guys really go at it with anybody. Like, that's the reason why, like, they always be like, oh, guy, you a tour only, so why you into this whole DNA stuff? I'm like, well, this is just another way for me to argue my point if someone doesn't agree with the tour, because not everybody's gonna agree with my assessment of the tour, whether it's the truth or not. That's just how people are in general, like human nature.
No, and that's why this is a teachable, learnable moment for everybody, though, Zach. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, I'm actually looking forward to breaking this one down and whatnot, right? Because a lot of people on the One West side or who ascribe to One West like beliefs or whatnot, they don't really sift through the science or whatnot. And there's no way to have this argument. If you want to sit down with us and have this argument, there's no way to do it without going through the science, right? And so this is why it's going to be a good teachable moment. And I'll praise to the Most High that for whatever reason, Judah called us out on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like we were looking for that convo, but yay, I'm down for it. You know what I'm saying? Because and it should be had, because these arguments do have to die, fam. And I mean, and here's the cold part. Like, so there's legitimate people. Like, so, like, bump this whole, like, so at this juncture, I have to agree with vocab alone on something. Nobody in the world can prove that they descend from Abraham at this juncture, right? It's not possible, because we don't have the DNA for that, right? We don't have any samples for that, right? The most we can do is we can use our DNA to trace ourselves to people in West Africa that themselves, within their oral tradition, etc., and in practices, say that they come from the Levant or whatnot, right? If that's something that matters to you, right? Judah could very well be able to do that. Judah talks a lot about stuff like he was talking in the video that I played about epigenetics and all that kind of stuff, right? You know what? I don't ever discount that stuff, right? I don't discount epigenetics and whatnot, right? However, you got to have something that you're using as a basis for that, right? Like, you got to put your money where your mouth is and whatnot, right? Like, so you got to take a DNA test,
like a model.
Yeah, a model, but you got to take a DNA test, all them kind of things, right? Like, apply it to your model, all them kind of things and whatnot, right? Like with Yab Gang, everybody's seen all our DNA, fam. All our DNA, and we all running through the models and whatnot, fam. But again, like Judah might find out, like he might connect to some people in West Africa or other sides or whatnot. It might not even be that. He might connect to some Sephardic Jews or whatnot. Who knows? He might connect to both, man. He might come from like
Ashkenazim.
I think that
he
might
ain't,
be
he ain't trying to hear that part.
Right.
He ain't trying to hear that part.
Yeah, let's stay away from that one.
He gonna be crying. He gonna be crying if he comes
I'm
talking about
sorry,
that.
bro, but these are the facts. These are the things that you could connect to. Like
Right,
as
facts
an
don't care
African
about your feelings.
American, yeah, I don't care about his feelings at this point.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
I'm looking at what what we as African Americans, when we do our DNA, what populations we come closest to. There's a
right.
few of them.
Yeah,
There's a few.
and we got to be real about it. Like shout out to the Limba, right? Because like the Limba got no issue saying they got the same DNA as like an Ashkenazi Jew or whoever. Like, you know what I'm saying? They got no issue. Like, oh, word? With the Cohen middle haplotype, I'm like, all right, cool. Whatever you look like, we're brothers. We're fam. They got no issue with that, fam. They don't sit there and be like, oh no, they can't be real because they're white. They're like, no, they recognize what it is. Their own story says like, yeah, we went from Babylon to Israel to Yemen to East Africa, whatnot, right? And we went to East Africa from Yemen. We didn't take no women with us. It was just a bunch of men and whatnot, and we intermarried with the East African women and whatnot. So they recognize that their phenotypes and all that kind of stuff changed and whatnot. They get that, but they still claim descendancy from where they came from. They say, no, we're not the same people as the people here. We may look the same, but we're not the same.
Facts, Rue.
Bro, that's where the
What Rue
black.
just
I
posted.
think.
Sorry,
my bad,
facts,
go ahead.
Rue. What Rue put in the comments. No different than the Teo twins. They cluster close to the their Y chromosome goes back to Ashkenazi, more in particular Khazarians, haplogroup G. Right? You know what I'm saying? So he could belong to a few things.
I mean, like, I get it, right? Like, the reason why, like, I get it, like, why the whole black thing is such a big deal with the Israelites and all that stuff is because, I mean, as a black power movement, black supremacist thing like that, I get that, right? Like, empowering our people, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like to empower our people, we've never had to, like, literally, like, come down on another group of people just to lift ourselves up. We just been great as it is, right? But I get it. It's like I hate to say it like this, but it is a black supremacist thing, right? It is what it is, right? Because the people have been put down, and some people are still stuck in that same mindset, like But I would say this, like as far as like the scientific argument, right? And which I think a lot of people don't want to have because they don't want to have to, they don't want to study, like like probably I agree more like with Avery's model because that's probably the person who I talk to probably the most, but I think like even for them to even present any type of scientific argument, they would have to first reflect and probably deny themselves, right? Because that's what I had to do. Like, taking my DNA. I was like when I was around y'all, I was like the only tour only, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, forget it. I'll take my DNA. And I kept putting it off. Y'all was like, oh, you putting off your DNA, so you ain't gonna do it. So I ended up eventually doing it. And it's like, it's like, and I think it's a fear tactic, right? Because a lot of people they fearful because it's like, damn, well, what if I'm not Israel? And then like, that just goes to show that they never really had no faith in anything that they believed in anyway. Because it's like whether you were a bloodline Israelite or not, like the whole point was to keep the Torah, or But
It's no different than being a Christian, right? So just let's be real. Prior to the Israelite movement or even the Nation of Islam movement, most of the people in the country were Christians, right? Didn't make a difference. Nobody cared if they were actually, you know, Gentiles or not. They were Christians by faith, right? They believed in Yeshua, right? So, it's So I get what you're saying when I get what you're trying to put across right now. Like it's no different. Like your faith, like you said, your faith wasn't as strong because regardless to what, if you're going to walk the walk of Torah, then it's Torah. If you're going to walk the walk of Bible, then it's Bible. Like it is what it is. Like it has to be something. It has to be something deeper than just color. It has to be something deeper than just color when it comes to walking your faith.
Practices don't have anything to do with how you look, what background you got. Culture has nothing to do with that. That's what we have an argument about culture. If you want to follow the commandments, if you want to follow Jewish culture, you can do that. And
Do
nothing's
it. Yeah.
stopping you but you. And you live in a free country. You can do as you please. And you mentioned something about being held back. I don't see how Judah Nazareth held back. He moved to Japan. So I
And
don't
he's
know how.
married and he's being fruitful.
And he's being fruitful. He's married. He's getting kids. He's doing well for himself. I don't understand this need to be a victim all the damn time. African Americans as a whole, so people always hone in and hyper focus on urban communities, but only 40% of African Americans live in urban communities. The other 40 lives in suburban communities, and
I
like
thought it was 20%.
Hey, you know what's
Is it
cold
something
though? Is like if
20%?
you actually sit down and talk to Judah, he's actually not. He's not for that victimhood mentality, right? Like some of the
Good.
best, like you could actually go back and some of the best conversations I've ever been a part of on his channel was talking about like entrepreneurial stuff in the community. Like there was like Zai, remember when he was talking about he was like, what we should do is we should all get together and make businesses based upon instituted like our culture and our society. Like so, he was talking about like how Middle Eastern people and Levantine people like they use the bathroom differently. They have different kind of bathrooms and whatnot. Like we should be instituting those in our neighborhoods and whatnot. We can make businesses doing that and whatnot. Blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. We had who we have? It was Charlene on it. We had the Mighty Hebrew on there talking the same stuff. Does I remember that?
Yeah, I do remember it. Yeah.
Yeah, like he that's the cool part about you. This it's a love-hate thing with Judah, right? Because he can definitely be on some righteous stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he's got to get over the fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he comes from that time period to where like it's the old school Sonetta way of doing things, and so like it's just that old way of doing things. He got to get out of his system and whatnot, right? And the arguments based upon bad methodology are the last things that really got to go. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Yeah,
right.
and nobody's denying that, as if you want to continue to use the term black people or African Americans or just black people, period, that we don't go through changes and we don't deal with racism. Yes, because there's racists amongst us. There's racists around us. There's racists around us outside of
A
being
lot of
black.
times,
And there's
they are the
racist
racists.
amongst us, right?
Yeah.
There's racist amongst us. So as long as we're dealing with racism on both sides of the spectrum, we're gonna deal with shit. That the racists do it to us. They're in power. The people who are in power do it to us, and we give them the same shit back. The same racism they put on us, we give them the same shit back. Where does the bullshit stop? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be, you know, you shouldn't look out for, people wanting to be deceptive, using racism, but you should be looking out for not just racism, just people wanting to be deceptive to you, period. You know what I'm saying? Trying to hurt you or harm you in any way, whether they belong to you or whether, when I say belong to you, whether they are black or whether they're white or whether they're Asian. Y'all, anybody could be an enemy. So I'm not saying like let your guard down and racism and stop being racist, but always keep your guard up because there's racists around you. Shit, I'm a black man. There's other black people that look at me, you know, they racist against me because I'm beige. And there's light-skinned brothers that's racist against dark-skinned brothers, and dark-skinned sisters that's racist against. This shit don't stop. When it's
And
gonna stop?
and they using your ignorance against you. They using African Americans' ignorance against them. And when it comes to that distorting and twisting of history and twisting of science, we just see that being replete. I'm about to show y'all something, man, that was brought to my attention. I didn't even know this was going on. But this is the danger, like following Black Hebrew Israelites, the Afrocentric extremists, that try to make you seem to be such victims, and everything about Black people as victims, and we should use that as a galvanizing mechanism. It's always some kind of trick bag at the end of the rainbow. Always. So I know you brothers know of this brother named Dr. Ali Muhammad. All right, I'm gonna show you. This is him here. For anybody to follow Sinetta back in the day, Dr. Ali Muhammad used to come in and debate polite, right? This brother right here has, so you get a good look at him, has a website. And this is what I'm talking about, trying to, sucker people in and trick them based off of saying, oh, we've been lied to, and the white man lied to us about everything, our identity, who we are, our health, everything. This is the danger of this. I'm going to show you. It's the rabbit hole is deep here. Now, this is his website here. This is his website. Now, on his website, after you get sucked in, he sells books for $200. The book ain't worth $200. But that's not the worst sin. These false ailment curing, medicines that he has.
He's a snake oil salesman.
Snake oil salesman. All these dudes are snake oil salesmen. It's just different levels of it. Look, consultation and bioscans. Let me see if I can find this, man, just to show y'all how insidious this stuff is. This dude got a quantum magnetic analyzer, and I'm trying to find it here. Listen to what I just said.
A quantum magnetic what?
I know, right? You gotta double check on that.
Yeah, because I gotta break that down. I got it. Go ahead.
Quantum magnetic analyzer that he's selling for $1,000.
Oh, he into quantum science. Okay, bro.
Yeah.
He's a quantum scientist.
Yes. Oh, here it is right here. See that $1,200? Can y'all see my screen? Am I on his website? And he's able to do this by peddling victimhood on Black people, this identitarian BS that all Black Hebrew Israelites, Afrocentrics seem to gravitate towards. He's able to do stuff like this, man. Look at this madness.
Yeah, that's $1,200.
$1,200, man.
It's $1,200.
Level 2 health certification, open to all. $1,200, man.
So he come to your crib and do this?
Nah, it's a video.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Proper use of the quantum magnetic analyzer. So when we're talking about distorting history, tricking people, oh, you've been lied to. The people that are doing it are the leaders of these pseudo cults, these Black Hebrew Israelites, these Afrocentrics. They are the people that are lying, misusing the people, ripping people off.
Hold on, you shoot. So you're paying $1,200 for a video?
Essentially.
But wait, what is this box that I'm seeing? What is this? What is this?
A quantum magnetic analyzer.
So you get this with the video? Just come to you, just come with a video in it? Like what, a DVD or some, what the hell is this? I'm lost. What comes in? A DVD, a microchip? What is it? What the hell is this shit?
Man, I don't know if it comes with the quantum magnetic analyzer, but I know the course for the quantum magnetic analyzer. Yeah, you're supposed to be able to diagnose yourself and see what's wrong with you with this quantum magnetic analyzer.
Bro, what in the Martian sound of stuff is that, bro?
Hold on, because I'm looking at a briefcase here. This is looking real 007-ish right here. This looks like it look like, I don't know what you're supposed to plug. You're supposed to plug this to your ears or something. You're supposed to put on a tin hat.
You got to pay the $1,200 to find out.
Oh, okay. All right. You know
what? I'm
gonna leave my brother alone.
You know what it is.
I'm gonna leave that brother alone with that one. He could, you know, if anybody want to buy that, go ahead, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave all y'all alone with that one.
The game
But
is to be sold and not sold, fam.
this is what I'm talking about. These people saying we being oppressed and the white men telling us lies and everything. These same people saying it, it's literally feeding you lies, selling you lies, making profits off of it. Look at IUIC. Look at Israel United in Christ. When I was with them dudes were broke. Now look at them today. Nathaniel worth $150 million. Making money off of what? Lying to y'all and distorting history.
That nigga in Africa doing the same shit.
Oh, they got hella fits though. They fits be looking crazy, bro. I'm sorry. They spend a lot of money on their fits.
Yeah, but the same organization was talking about Joel Osteen and them guys robbing the community. They robbing the community. They taking money from poor black people. That's exactly what y'all doing.
If they want to continue to get fleeced by these people, hey.
That's where I'm at with it too, bro. That's where I'm at with it, man.
Hey.
Oh, we've been lied to, and the racist is coming. That's you. You describing yourself. One, you're racist. Two, you distort and twist shit for your own gain, whether it be to amass a following or line your damn pockets. Y'all fit in one or two or both of those categories. That's why Teo did not want to accept his DNA results, because he has to push this blackology on everybody. Everybody's black.
Still in denial.
Yeah.
Has to use autosomes.
You are literally lying because you know your results show that you come from Caucasian people.
It didn't show his empty DNA either, his maternal DNA either. That's probably European as well. Might be
right.
H.
Right. Guerrilla Hebrew, same thing. You know that your DNA results are not favorable. That's why you don't release them. You know that because you're deceiving, you're twisting and distorting and misleading people. The same accusations that you levy towards people of a different hue, which that's crazy to even say, Guerrilla Hebrew, because you got the same hue as those people you talk about, right? Saying that all the Jews are lying, that they all liars, white people are all liars. You are literally in that same bag, bro, when it comes to lying and distorting, telling half-truths and mistruths, leading people down the wrong direction. Now, you literally got on there and said that having bad knees is a curse of the Most High, and that's a sign of being an Israelite. Like you like stuff like that.
I got gout-ritis right now.
Yeah.
You know what gout-ritis? You know what gout-ritis is?
No, break it down.
That's what
gout-ritis is gout and arthritis mixed together. I got gout-ritis in my big toe and my knee. It leaked down to my toe.
That nigga said he got bad knees. I don't know from what, but that sounds suspect to me.
That nigga said that, bro. That if bad knees is listed as one of the curses of the Most High to identify the children of Israel.
Shout out to the bad knees doctrine.
Gout-ritis doctrine.
But this is these people saying that, oh, all these other people are lying to you. No, you doing all the lying. You doing all the distorting here. You're doing all the twisting. Y'all twist history all day long. Again, make this make sense to me. How are you going to be the diasporic Israelites from the Assyrian conquest and also be the damn Israelites that's in Judea during the fall and the fall of Judea in the 1st century CE? Explain that to me.
Because
your argument's not even logically.
Every Hebrew, it's all in me.
Like the argument's not logically coherent because you're twisting and bending and mixing stuff together.
I'd like to liken it to, like, I don't know if y'all remember this, but they used to have like these 25-cent packs of Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
I remember. If y'all remember that. Okay.
I remember
so,
that.
a 25.
I remember that, bro. What you talking about? I came up on that.
All right,
You
cool.
forgot
So y'all would understand.
we 90s babies, bro.
All
Yeah,
right,
for
so y'all
real.
would understand this. A 25-cent pack of Kool-Aid could make like a 6 to 8 ounce 8-ounce glass of Kool-Aid with no sugar because it already had some sugar in it. But you know what we do? We want to
Yeah,
make a
sugar.
jug
Yeah, yeah.
and we take that 25 cent and then we add sugar to it. And we put pounds of sugar to it
We
to make it
stretch it. Yeah.
sound good. We stretch the shit out of it so it sound good and it tastes good to us. And we, if especially if you was on a grape, you you know what I'm saying, you put a little, you squeeze a little lemon, cut some lemon slices and drop it into the grape Kool-Aid with the sugar. You know what I mean? So now you know that 25-cent pack, instead of it being for one person, you make it for the whole community. Make it for
Yeah.
the whole family. So everybody could take a sip of the Kool-Aid, you know?
Yeah.
Uh,
Water.
uh,
You put water in the spaghetti, all types, trying to make shit stretch.
uh,
I got you. I know how they
Cornflakes,
go.
cornflakes, you put you know, you crunch up, so you grind some cornflakes down, grind some cornflakes down and put it in the
Water
meatloaf.
in the chili. Put
Put it
water
in
in
the
the
meatloaf. You know what I'm saying? Stretch the meatloaf, baby.
chili. Yeah, they definitely. Yeah, y'all stretching a lot of stuff, man. Y'all
Hmm.
stretching a lot of the fact that y'all believe all African Americans. Oh, we don't believe. Yes, you do, because you basing it on, oh, you're African American, you an Israelite. That's it. That's where it starts and it stops. Oh, we don't believe all Hispanics are Native Americans. Bullshit. That's exactly what y'all believe. If you go up to a random Hispanic, hey brother, don't you know you from the tribe of Issachar? You don't even know this dude. He's a random motherfucker. But see, again, none of these arguments are logically cohesive because you're too busy twisting and distorting things. Yeah, the book Lost Tribes of Promised Land, remember Alizar read from it and said, oh, see, he's talking about the tribes of Reuben in Florida. These are Seminole Indians. And he's making reference to the tribe of Ephraim in Puerto Rico. The whole damn time, Montesinos is not even nowhere near Florida, nowhere near Puerto Rico. The story is taking place in Quito, Ecuador.
You know what that is, right? That's that sugar. Stop
That
putting
was
that sugar in the Kool-Aid. Stop stretching that Kool-Aid.
that was
You went from Florida to Puerto Rico.
You inheriting lies at that point. Like the scriptures say, we're gonna find out that we inherited lies. You inherited lies. The issue is that's what was taught to us by Nathaniel and the other dude from One West, because it's an old video floating around the internet of Nathaniel and a light skinned dude. I think he Puerto Rican or something, doing a 12 tribe chart breakdown, and we all fed off that and didn't do our own research, did not go read the sources ourselves. We just regurgitate what those guys said on the video. And they said Montesinos was talking to the Seminole Indians in Florida, and that was the tribe of Reuben. And he was making reference to their brother, the tribe of Ephraim in Puerto Rico, on an island nearby. The damn book ain't even talking about it. Montesinos was not in Florida. He was in Ecuador, and the island he was talking about nearby were the Galapagos Islands. Nice try. But it just shows you didn't take out the time to do the independent research.
Wait,
And
that went all the way to the Galapagos?
the Galapagos Islands, bro.
Oh my God.
You know, it's just sad at this point, man. It's just sad. And this can all be healed and appended by people that just take out the time to read and go into it, into the material that's being discussed, and getting an understanding in the material that's being discussed. Because these cult members and leaders are trained to twist and distort and mislead. They're trained to do it.
You know what else is another problem too, is that they think that genetics can't line up with the biblical narrative. So it's like, you know, so it's like that's another reason why
Not if
they
you
try
back in
to
the
focus
GPS model. You saying it can. You just saying it's got to be out of Somo.
Not
Yeah,
even
it's
that.
kind of.
If you don't want to delve into it and you're dealing with just straight One West doctrine, you know, and even you might not even be One West, you know, but there's a whole lot of leaky One West doctrine all over Israel. You know what I'm saying? It's leaking into everything. And so people holding on to those things, you know, it's like Yakub, the big headed scientist back when I was coming up. You know what I mean? And all of these doctrines. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't change. Like you don't have to have any source material. You know, or you could just have one piece of or one source and just distort the source. And you don't have to worry about anybody going and reading the source that you presented because they're not going to do it. They're going to depend on you to do everything for them.
No, that's true. And that's actually right. Like, like I said, like, like even like when D Red was bringing out some stuff, like they're trying to maybe say that like I said, I forgot what source he brought out, but there was one of the sources, and they tried to make it sound like they were saying that the Israelites or Hamites or Africans and whatnot. It just said that they had some type of hermetic structure, uh, skull structure. Well, no, I think it was uh, hermetic something. It was something. He read brought out some sources or something like that. But
The
yeah,
Hermetic
it was more
hypothesis.
so. I'm not sure what source it was, but it was talking about the scroll structure, or the cranial structure of some of the Israelites that they found in Africa.
I don't know what D-Red was
Yeah, I don't
referencing.
know. I don't know. We'll talk to D Red. He'll bring it up because he's probably gonna listen to this and then at some point he'll talk to
No, but basically
Yeshua
they
or
were,
somebody.
yeah, they was basically trying to say like, oh, you guys are trying to say that the Israelites are Hamites. It's like,
Well, how do
no.
you?
He'll clarify himself
Here's the question to Judah Nazareth. How do you distinguish what a Hamite and a Shemite is? How do you even do that?
because they're both black, ain't they? They both look like Nigerians.
I'm trying to figure this. How do you
They
even
don't look
know
like us.
they don't look? What do you mean don't look like us? There's many
How they
African
don't look?
Americans that look like
Well, they don't look like us
Nigerians.
today. They don't look like us today because, like I said earlier, we over here. We mix with European, Aboriginals, Asians, you name it. We mix with them. So that's special. We special now, but we
Nah, I
still
don't
claiming
know.
West African. We still claiming West African descent and Israel. Our Israelism comes from West Africa.
Yeah, that's the tricky part about it, is because it's like, how do they
Oh,
differentiate who's a Hamite and who's a Shemite? Because
yeah.
I
All
mean,
right.
for me, I look Fulani and I do look Ethiopian, so it's like I get that all the time, especially like when I work with people from the continent.
And
So
there's
it's
nothing
like,
inherently wrong looking like any goddamn thing on the planet.
yeah, so but to them, that's being a Hamite because you look like one.
Well, let them
But
continue
that's,
drinking that Kool-Aid. They could go ahead with that. But
yeah, it's kind of stupid, but
They
I
putting that water in the chili again.
they putting all that goddamn sugar in the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, there is the answer is no. They can't differentiate people just by looking at them. You just can't. If you did, Derek Jeter, he looked like a Russian. There's a lot of people out here that look like in between or just outright, another racial category, because all these things are social categories that we try to encapsulate how people look. So you can't just go to somebody and say, oh, you look like this, therefore your ancestry reflects this. No. First of all, how do you know that person looks like his ancestors? Secondly, just because you have a certain look don't mean that you are Israelite or any other ancient nation, for that matter. None of that means anything. Again, 40% of African American men descend from Europeans that were probably pale, had loose hair patterns, straight hair, probably had blue eyes. You understand? Aquiline noses, all that good, all that. So at the end of the day, you can't go off looks. With these people, you're just gonna argue in circles again, distorting and misleading people. Same thing Teo said. You can't tell me my ancestors don't look like you, look like me. Yes, I can. If we all look again, having sex with somebody is not cloning. We're not making clones when we're having sex and reproducing and having babies. It's not what we're doing. It's a different process. If sex was cloning, you wouldn't have everybody on the planet would look exactly the same. We'll live in a monochrome world where everybody will have the same nose shape, same eye color, same hair texture. same everything. But we don't. Life is diverse. Humans are diverse, even though we all ultimately descend from the same group of humans. But over 100,000 years, we are very diverse. You got people that have different eye shapes, eye colors, different hair textures, skin color, skin tones, different heights, different bone densities, all over.
Hey, real quick, I want to touch on something you just said, because like you just man, that concept right there, like we all go back to the same male and female concept, right? How do you prove that with an autosomal model?
You can't.
Like with haplogroups, it's very easy to do with mutation accumulation. Very easy to do with mutation accumulation on the chromosome, on the sex
I have a
chromosome.
question too, also on so this 1500 years that because I didn't get to read the article that the brother was using earlier, Judah. This 1500 years, is this autosomes that stayed in a specific area and these people are continuously breeding amongst each other? So their autosomes is don't, let's say like we see Natufian DNA
Mhm.
uh amongst Yemeni, and that Natufian DNA has been amongst the Yemeni up, let's say up to 30% for the past 2, 3, 4,000 years, because they're continuously breeding amongst each other. Is this what this autosomal model that Aaron Elhak is putting forth is what Jude is using? Am I saying that wrong? Like I'm not really sure because I haven't read that article.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's
I know the paper you're talking about, right? But any older DNA, like for instance, West Africans have old DNA from unidentified hominin. Well,
Right.
how do you get
The
that
ghost
DNA?
population. The ghost
Yeah,
population.
how do you get that DNA to survive to today? It's because it's
Keep breeding
stabilized
amongst
within
the
that
same people.
population.
right.
That
Right.
group kept mixing with each other, and those segments of DNA just kept getting passed down.
Right. So it's the same thing. So it's a specific group of people he's talking about, not autosomes amongst people across the planet. It depends on where you're at. If that's in the gene pool of the people that you're breeding amongst, it's going to stay there.
Yes.
Even if it dwindles down a little bit because new populations coming to the area, it still would be there. So that's nothing new. We already knew that. So I'm trying to figure out what this brother was trying to use with that. Like he's saying that is a better stabilization of who you are than Y chromosome and empty DNA chromosome.
Well, he just doesn't understand from the what I saw from the video. He
Hmm.
doesn't understand. He thinks when we say haplogroup, that it's like saying I'm a Catholic.
I'm
That's what I
sorry,
got from
I didn't
the
mean it
tidbit
loud.
of the video. Like, oh, the doctrine, the haplogroup doctrine. No, this is not saying I'm a Catholic. This is not the same vein.
Mm.
Haplogroups, when we talk about haplogroups, that is empirical data. That's us observing people groups in their male or female ancestry. That's it. That has nothing to do. That's not saying, oh, I'm teaching a doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks oh no, but the autosomal doctrine, it's like saying, oh, I'm a Sunni Muslim and you're a Fruit of Islam Muslim. The Fruit
Mm-hmm.
of Islam Muslim doctrine is correct. The Sunni Muslim doctrine is
Right,
incorrect.
right.
No, you just don't understand the DNA science. You
Exactly.
don't understand autosomal DNA and how it differentiates from Y DNA, paternal and maternal DNA.
Hmm. But that's no different than like we go back uh to what 1200 BCE and we find sub-Saharan African autosomes amongst Jews today, 8 different
Yeah,
populations. Like
right.
right. So I'm trying to figure out what, because we do use autosomes in our arguments. We do use them because they're relevant. But when we're
Mhm.
talking about direct ancestry, you can't use it because it doesn't tell you who you came from. It tells you the people that your people mixed with, the populations that your people mixed with, and
Let,
may have continued to mix with.
let,
But
let me give it. Let me give an example of that real quick, Sean. Remember we were discussing the sub-Saharan African DNA, I think in Egypt or in the Jews.
Yes.
We had the conversation live that could encompass a lot. That could be Dinkas. We don't know if it's Dinkas.
Right.
That could be Dinkas contributing to that.
Right.
Because that autosomal grouping can contribute to a wide group of people.
Right.
Now we go with the consensus saying that it's Yoruba, when we know that's related to us. But it could very well be Dinka as well. So
right. But they don't know which population to come from exactly because they're so closely related. So that's why they use the Y was it YBI or YRI and Dinka in that particular study. The Yoruba and the, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the YRI. That's
I believe they use the Luya in the Yoruba one.
Luya, right? LWI and the YRI.
It's DNA that's consistent amongst both groups of people. Right. So it could come
from
like
forever. It's still in a Jewish diaspora genome. If you we could use that as well. So we don't say that you can't use autosomes at all. What we're saying is for direct ancestry, this is for everybody that's listening, for direct ancestry, you can't use it. So this is why he was saying GPS, which is, I guess, populations. This is what I was hearing him saying, in this particular study, the populations that it's... You have to go by populations of people living amongst each other and who they cluster to, as opposed to, this is what I was hearing. I'm not sure if, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. But he's saying the certain populations, the GPS, the populations, it's more, it's better to use the populations they were amongst as opposed to direct ancestry. Is basically what he was saying.
Well, again, I open up the video address of this. If you go that
I didn't hear that part. Okay.
If you go that route, let me just put it on the screen again.
Okay.
This is what it looks like. Modern Jews.
Yes, this is a good study. Okay.
They're in between Middle Eastern and Eastern European people. All you did was kick the can down further down the road.
Mm-hmm.
They're still verified as being Jews.
Exactly.
Because they cluster.
They still cluster
between those two populations, and when you cluster between two populations, you are a product of those two populations.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, find something else. That's all I can say.
No, bro. Listen, bro. I just hope they do more reading. I'm glad that he tried to read, but he just chose the pseudo, the same pseudo that was Pastor Kelly uses. Who else uses it? Benaiah Israel uses. Who else uses El Hike? And Pacrasino.
Pretty much anybody that's a pseudo is going to refer to him.
They use it. But yeah, they all use the same thing, and it's like y'all brothers have not stretched your wings yet. You're still like, to me, they're still like fledgling birds that's in a nest, grown enough to fly, big enough to leave the nest, but won't stretch their wings and fly outside of the 1 West net or nest. Like they don't want to leave the nest. Like you got to read, you got to stretch yourself out and just really get into some things and build with some brothers, because they could build with us, but they refuse to. They want to argue with us all the time. This stuff is it's work. It's work. This stuff is work to like learn all this stuff, but they don't want to. They're so lazy.
It takes time, fam. It takes so much time. Like this is what I'm saying. I need the second and third witness at this juncture, right? Like all y'all do is bring El Hike, fam. Can y'all bring a couple of other people to corroborate what he's talking about?
Exactly.
And I'm not saying like an argument argument that popular one. I'm not talking about like it appeals to majority. I'm saying no. I'm just saying like on some biblical stuff. Can you give me a second and third witness? That's
Not
all.
even that.
I'm not
Yeah,
asking for 30, bro. I'm not asking for
yeah,
like a whole like bro. Just give me 2.
yeah. Just give me 2 that cites with. Just give me 2 or 3 that cites what El Hike is saying, genetically wise. You can't. You know what I'm saying? Need 2 or 3 witnesses, like my bro said. Like, come on now. I just want to hold on to something that you. There's no. I'm telling you that the Christian apologists, certain Christian apologists, are very well. They're not as very well learned as I would say us, but they on this even in the conscious community. They on it. They on it hard. And you're gonna go walking into a debate with them, and they're gonna cook your ass. Where the hibachi grill at?
Here you go. I got
Give
you.
me that hibachi grill. They gonna cook your ass.
Here you go. I got you, OG. I got you, OG.
All right, so y'all get it together and give up these old arguments, man. Go ahead, Yeshua. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, man. Look, I mean, it's simple right here. You see the Erfurt Jewish findings there.
Hmm.
You see the components within these Jews, Middle Eastern and European components, some Russian components here as well. So go off your autosomal DNA all you want. You're not going to eliminate these people.
Exactly. Matter of fact, they're gonna score higher, like we said before. But go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Exactly. As you can see, the green portions of the Middle East,
Hmm.
Eastern
They're
portions that we
scoring
found.
higher.
Show me yours. Show me the African Americans with this. Since we're going off autosomal DNA now, show me the African Americans that are clustering with Middle Eastern populations.
Going off
Show
of
me.
autosomal is the nail in the coffin for Israelites if they're going to use that. Going against anybody trying to debate this genetics of being Israel. It's a sarcophagus. Ain't no oxygen in that, nothing. It's a big stone ass. That shit weigh a ton and a half. Your ass is dead. You're gonna suffocate.
Yeah. Yeah, this is why y'all don't want to deal with haplogroups here. What my brother Rule's saying here.
Hmm.
I know he's addressing somebody in the chat, but also this applies to y'all. When you start looking at all the bones and the remains in those lands, match yourself with those.
Exactly.
See what happens. Then
Mhm.
holler at me. Since you're dealing with autosomal DNA and GPS and what population you clustering with. Let's see which one you cluster to. The Jews, modern Jews cluster with Middle Easterners.
My bro said, "Go check your DNA and then come holler at me." Straight like that.
Hey, bro, that's what it is though, for real, bro.
Let's just cut to the chase.
Yeah, for real.
And it's no
Brass
disrespect
tacks,
to anybody that come out. If you have European ancestry, direct European ancestry, it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with it. But y'all creating this monster. The people that y'all arguing against created this monster, and y'all adopted the monster.
It's funny because they try to clown me over my Chinese autosomal DNA all the time. But
Bro,
I
I
can
got
prove
like
I'm still an
25%.
Emo.
I got like 25% Asian DNA.
They try to clown me over my Chinese DNA, but it's like, hey, I'm still an E marker. Show me yours. Show me yours. Show me over your marker.
The man that's literally intermixed with East Asians gonna clown somebody else for having East Asian DNA.
You understand?
This is the weird shit I be talking. It's weird, bro.
His kids, don't disrespect to him, his kids and his family again. His kids is at least 50% Asian.
Yep.
50%. And so don't clown nobody about that. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with this inherently. It's nothing wrong. But y'all created this monster. Y'all adopted this monster from the people that y'all call monsters that gave birth to this baby monster. Y'all done adopted the monster.
Yep. Racial purist ideology. Y'all believe in racial purism. You think that everybody that belongs in a racial group all are the same and pure, and that's just not true. Like we're reading on the screen, patterns of genetic ancestry of self-reported African Americans. Genome-wide ancestry estimates of African Americans show an average proportion of 73.2% African, 24.0% European, and 0.8% Native American ancestry. We find systematic differences across states in the U.S. in mean ancestry proportions of self-reported African Americans. So layman's term, people
No, you missed it. No. You missed it. How much Levantine ancestry?
zero, zilch, nada.
Damn.
African Americans don't have Levantine ancestry. They don't have Middle Eastern ancestry like that. Ashkenazi Jews do. We don't. So you're gonna pit yourself in a hole if you're going off autosomal DNA. Let me read this, man. On average, the highest levels of African ancestry are found in African Americans living in or born in the South, especially in South Carolina and Georgia. We find lower proportions of African ancestry in the Northeast, the Midwest, or Pacific Northwest, and California. Real quick, when you get to the northern regions, you get to the East Coast and these different regions like California, you do see an uptick in European ancestry. This is why a lot of y'all don't want to take the test, because it just fits and overlaps with history that you had white Europeans mixing with African American women. It's just history. That's what happened. Some of y'all are the byproduct of that. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is something wrong to a racist purist when you believe that everybody in the racial group should share the same common ancestry, and that's just not true. It says the amount of Native American ancestry estimated for African Americans also varies across the states in the U.S. More than 5% of African Americans are estimated to carry at least 2% Native American ancestry genome-wide. African Americans in West and Southwest on average carry higher levels of Native American ancestry, a trend that is largely driven by individuals with less than 2% Native American ancestry. With a lower threshold of 1% Native American ancestry, we estimate that about 22% of African Americans carry some Native American ancestry. And that just comes from the history of Native Americans and African Americans mixing with each other. And again, I didn't read anything about Levantine ancestry here. I didn't read anything about somehow you guys Middle Eastern ancestry and this point to the first century Judea. I'm not reading that. See, y'all cherry pick, man. Y'all cherry pick. If you're going to raise this standard, apply it to the group you belong to and see if you fit that standard. Nobody does that.
If you belong to the group that you think you belong to. I'm sorry, I just want to say that.
Oh, man. Here's a chart here. As you can see, northeastern states usually have higher average European ancestry. Southern states and vice versa have higher sub-Saharan African ancestry. And those within...
you can blow that up a little bit, bro. Blow it up a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Those that do have more than 2% Native American ancestry, like we got two brothers that maternally descend from Native Americans on the stream right now. It shows you the location of those guys as well. I see. Can you see it now? Because I blew it all the way up and I lost my spot.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sorry, Brian, you know.
Let me see the map.
Yeah.
So again, we got autosomal studies of African Americans. Let's go over the autosomal studies of African Americans and test it against your standard. Where's the Levantine ancestry here? All I see is African, European, and Native American ancestry in small intervals. Where is it? Here it is here. And of course, you have an uptick of this ancestry in Oklahoma, Oklahoma's Native indigenous history. And you got an uptick up here as well. So I believe that's New York, right?
Yeah, that's New York State. No, that's New York State.
Yeah, you have African Americans and the Native indigenous.
Yeah, and that little slither on the side right there, that's just as dark. That little off the peninsula, that's Long Island. That's
Long Island. So yeah. So we know the autosomal breakdown again: African, Native American and European makes up the majority of the African American genome. I do not see the Levantine components here. Where are they? Where are they? Somebody please, man. Somebody please tell me where is it? I don't see it. It says here we use the links of segments of European, African, and Native American ancestors to estimate the best fit model admixture history among these populations for African Americans. We estimate an initial admixture between Europeans and Native Americans occurred 12 generations ago. Followed by, so you do that 12 times 29, and that'll give you the time frame. 12 times 29, 10 times 29, 290. So you add 44 years or 24 years to that. Oh yeah, 302, 314, about 310 to 314 years ago, right? Is when we start seeing the European and Native American admixture going
That's the
into
400-year prophecy, bro.
it's a 400-year Look, it says followed by subsequent African admixture 6 generations ago, consistent with other admixture inferences methods dating African American admixture. A sex bias in African American ancestry with greater male European and female African contributions has been suggested through mtDNA, Y-DNA, chromosome, and autosomal studies. All studies together point to an uptick on males. So it's more likely if you're African American male to be of European descent than a female. Why? Because it was mostly European males mixing with African women. That's history. And we can see it in the genomes of the African Americans. Again, I'm not seeing anything about Levantine ancestry here. On average, across African Americans, we estimate that the X chromosomes has a 5% increase in African ancestry and an 18% reduction in European ancestry relative to genome-wide estimates. Though comparison of estimates of X chromosomes and genome-wide African and European ancestry proportions, we estimate that approximately 5% of ancestors of African Americans were European females and 19% were European males. So we're not all the same. And again, where's the Levantine history? Where's the part of the paper that says Jewish males? That they come from Jewish males from Judea, the 1st and 2nd century, and the 7th century Israelites, 7th century BCE Israelites that were, casted out of the kingdom. Where's that in the papers? Where's that in the studies? Where is it? I thought we were going off autosomes. What happened? Now you're gonna try to throw the baby out with the bathwater now. Now you're like, oh, we can't deal with none of that DNA stuff. We can't deal with the autosomal DNA either. Oh man, let me go down. We go down to the conclusion, and then we'll get out of here, man. I'm getting tired. So hopefully somebody learned something, throughout the duration of this video.
I'm on my last glass of Champipple, so we're right on time.
So patterns of genetic ancestry of self-reported African Americans. Consistent with previous studies, the diversity of ancestry profiles of 23andMe African Americans reveal that individuals comprise the full range from 0%, so you do have African Americans that have very low African percentages, to 100% African ancestry. But further, that there are differences in estimates of ancestry proportions among regions. Namely, we find the differences between states that were slaveholding and those that were free at the time of the U.S. Civil War. Reflected in these ancestry patterns are migration routes, such as the transatlantic slave trade that brought Africans through the important southern seaports, as documented online in American Fact Finder and American Community Survey summary file. The small sample sizes from some areas of the U.S., including parts of the Midwest and mountain regions, reflect the lower population density of African Americans residing in these regions. Though mean estimates of Native American ancestry are low, many African Americans carry detectable levels of Native American ancestry. Consistent with historical narratives and family histories, our estimates suggest that 1 in every 5 African American carries Native American ancestry, a higher rate than we detected in self-reported European Americans. So again, we have this element here, Native American, and these Native Americans have been living in the Americas for 15,000 years. have nothing to do with the exile of the Assyrians that y'all trying to say. And second Ezra's, the Israelites shipped over here. They sailed over here in ships during the time of the Assyrians. It had nothing to do with that. It says an individual that carries more than 1% Native American ancestry can arise from one genetically Native American ancestor within the last 11 or so generations. So again, there you go with that percentage. Did y'all catch that? You could have a Native American ancestor, but it could date back 11 generations, and that accounts for 1% Native American. That is tell you indirect or direct, but you can't see that autosomally. But again, for all you autosomal Israelites out there, show me the Levantine Israelite DNA in this mix here. I'm seeing Native American, European, and African. That's all I'm seeing. Or multiple genealogical Native American ancestors for discussion. See how many genetic ancestors do I have online. Oklahoma shows the highest proportion of African Americans with substantial Native American ancestry, or more than 14% of African Americans for Oklahoma carry at least 2% Native American ancestry. Oklahoma was a site of contact between Native Americans and African Americans after the Trail of Tears migration in the 1830s, where Black slaves comprised a significant part of the population in the 1860s. In the location of slaveholding 5 civilized tribes, in contrast, we do not observe higher rates of Native American ancestry in African Americans in Florida, which is potentially notable in light of the known history of Seminole intermarriage with Blacks, according to 1860 U.S. Census. Even excluding individuals with no African ancestry, which are probably a result of survey errors, we still estimate a higher European and corresponding lower African mean genetic ancestry proportion in 23andMe African Americans compared to previous studies of African Americans. A significant difference between the 23andMe cohort of African Americans and many groups previously studied is geographic sampling. Our cohort reflects heavier sampling of individuals living in or born in California and in New York, probably driven by population density as well as awareness of genetic testing or 23andMe. Both are regions where African Americans have lower mean African ancestry than other studies. And that's another thing about percentages in African autosomal DNA in general. How do you even group these people? How do you even say that this is all pointing to Jacob? When you're saying you're going off autosomal DNA, but African Americans share a different proportion, relative to what geographical location they are in the United States of America. In New York, they might have higher of European DNA as to African DNA. So how do you work that out? All of this doesn't make any sense because you're taking autosomal DNA out of context. Autosomal DNA is showing you the groups that admix together to make your gene pool. That's it. But you're trying to take it out of context and say it's a sole identifier and it's what's going to point to your Israelite DNA. Well, okay, well, show me the Levantine DNA. And I haven't seen it yet, haven't read it yet. And we're dealing with a genome-wide study of African Americans, and I don't see it. The average DNA study is showing you that it's African, European, Native, Indigenous American. It says the other studies of African Americans, which are often drawn for locations in the South. However, participation in 23andMe is not free and requires online access. So therefore, it is important to note that other social, cultural, and economic factors might interact to affect ancestry proportions of those individuals who chose to participate in 23andMe. Our admixture dates for African Americans provide evidence that African and European mixture occurred prior to 1860, suggesting that gene flow between these groups might predate the Great Migration of African Americans from the South into the North beginning around 1910, though more complex models that capture more continuous gene flow are needed to resolve African and European mixture timing. That's your ancestry here in America. That's what autosomal DNA is going to reveal. It's a snapshot between the 5 and 8 generations ago on average. And what we see in the gene pool of African Americans, it's African DNA, European DNA, and Native Indigenous DNA.
And that's exactly what I said earlier.
Yeah. I'm done, y'all. Any last words before we get out of here?
Yeah.
This 7 candlesticks up, and I've been telling you niggas, it ain't a debate. It's a stick up. Gang.
Thank Thank you, Fizzle.
He ran up on a chop, he's a boxer. Pow, right in the kisser. It's a stick, that's a drum, I'll drop some, nigga. Pow, right in the kisser. I'ma shoot the K until the cops come. Pow, right in the kisser. We did him like that cause he's a spot burner. Pow, right in the kisser. Pull up with the stick with the drum, who won't run with me? Pow, right in the kisser. Stupid shells dumping out the chop, it's 100. Pow, right in the kisser. I'ma pull it out the Louis bag, don't come for me. Pow, right in the kisser. I just stumped a nigga in some Christian Louboutins. Pow, right in the kisser. I just shot a nigga granny house, don't care who in there. Pow, right in the kisser. I can't trust the niggas that I hang with, they be shooting kids. Pow, right in the kisser.
I smoke a nigga like a Swiss or a pack of cigs.
Pow, right in the kisser.
I pull up with a chop on the ops and split a wig. For real.
Pow, right in the kisser.
I broke his bitch, he poppin', now I'm poppin' on fed.
Pow, right in the kisser.
We didn't drop by, we walked him down, put him in a ditch.
Pow, right in the kisser.
I got this FN across a nigga, treat him like a Christian.
Pow, right in the kisser.
And my Christian Louboutins running, chasing me a victim.
Pow, right in the kisser.
This 762's flipping, I put him in a blender.
Pow, right in the kisser.
A bartender, I give him shots, now he look drunk like he on liquor.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Those are not Glocks, buddy, those are ghost guns.
Those ain't real.
Pow, right in the kisser.
My homie smoke too many ops, he don't got no lungs.
Pow, right in the kisser.
223 shells, nigga, that's for King Kong.
That's what the ass.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Go play that Roof Chris, bitch, that's my theme song.
We eat that Roof Chris every time we wax.
Pow, right in the kisser.
In this belly backpack is a big strap.
Some shit that really can't even fit in his back.
Pow, right in the kisser.
He got flip hollows, turned him to a Big Mac.
Turn his dumb ass to a burger or something.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Dead man, that's a homie you can't get back.
He's no longer, he can't come back.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Stripping every buster nigga at them kickbacks.
They have no chains on them.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Riding around the city with two straps, I feel like John Wick.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Caught in front of that stove, so I flicked him like a bit.
Like a lighter.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Bitches choosing sides cause they knowin' we the shit.
They them niggas, we got sticks.
Pow, right in the kisser.
But we don't give them shit, we just run them, then we dip.
We did.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Bro drive 50, so I had to place the order.
The order?
Pow, right in the kisser.
Chop his head off and throw his body across the border.
I flipped him like a quarter.
Pow, right in the kisser.
You was not a slaughter nigga, you the hood porter.
Those are the stones get that shit.
Pow, right in the kisser.
You could date the bitch if you got the feed to afford her.
You can't buy that bitch.
Pow, right in the kisser. He's never coming back in that stack. Pow, right in the kisser. I'ma shoot it till my hand cramp. Pow, right in the kisser. I ain't finna go in bareback, bitch. Pow, right in the kisser. You love me, then come let my friends crash. Pow, right in the kisser. I caught him like in the C class. Pow, right in the kisser. They gon' have to run a beat back. Pow, right in the kisser. You go against the team, you need cash. Pow, right in the kisser. I caught his mama at the repass. Pow, right in the kisser. Another nigga dead, you gotta deal with it.
I mean, it's been a long ass time ago.
Pow, right in the kisser. You an internet thug, I'm in the real trenches.
You just pop it on the ground, weird ass nigga.
Pow, right in the kisser. He wanna squabble up, I wanna kill niggas.
I'ma hit him with this chop, we ain't gon' box.
Pow, right in the kisser. I'm from the stink team and saw real niggas.
We run this shit, y'all weird.
Pow, right in the kisser. I nutted her face and told her deal with it.
Splashed all on the motherfucker's face.
Pow, right in the kisser. I was cooking in the county on the grill, nigga.
I was whipping up all type of fancy shit.
Pow, right in the kisser. I was really in K-Town taking field trips.
Ling Ling, May Ling, Kim Wong and all.
Pow, right in the kisser. All dome shot, we tryna split wigs.
We tryna rearrange some shit.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Man, niggas know what the fuck going on, nigga.
Pow, right in the kisser.
Man, he's never coming back in that stat, nigga. Man, let that shit go, bro. Like, this shit is ridiculous. Like, you niggas still holding on to grudges and all that shit from 3 years ago, man. Like,
Pow, right in the kisser.
I'm just saying, like, y'all niggas, like, it's come on, bro. Like,
Pow, right in the
like,
kisser.
it's over with, bro. Like, man, like, come on, bro.
Pow, right in the kisser.
He's never coming back in that stat. Like,
Pow, right in the kisser.
like, just face it, bro. Like, y'all just holding on to this shit, like, nigga.
Pow, right in the
What y'all
kisser.
gonna do? Wait till somebody else get flipped? Like, what's going on?
Pow, right in the kisser.
Yeah, exactly, nigga. Yeah.
Pow, right in the kisser. Pow, right in the kisser.
Pow, right in the kisser. Pow,
Pow right in the kisser. Pow right in the kisser. Come on, bro. Pow. He's no longer.